Greetings from Podcastville. The Church of What's Happening Now wants to introduce 23andMe. It's a DNA testing service that can offer you insights into your ancestry, health, wellness, and traits. The 23andMe Health and Ancestry service includes reports on how your DNA can influence your weight, sleep quality, caffeine intake, sense of taste, whether you're likely to be lactose intolerant, and a lot more. And it's easy to do. You simply spit into the tube provided in your 23andMe kit, and you mail it to your saliva sample back to the lab to be analyzed. Do me a favor. Order your 23andMe Health and Ancestry kit at 23andme.com/church. That's 23andme.com/church. That's the number 23andme.com/church. Find out what's crack-a-lacking with you. The church also wants to give a shout-out to my people, mybookie.com and shit. Football is back, and it's in full effect. And listen, why have all these fucking locks if you're not going to pick a winner and get paid? This is where Uncle Joey comes in with my bookie right now, today. You should already open up a fucking account. Why? Because my bookie is the only service I recommend to the church family. That's why I'm urging you to make your way to my bookie. You know why? Because you win and you get paid. No fucking drama. No tip-top magoo. No, I got to wait till Thursday and meet the guy at the fucking diner. Fuck him. My bookie is the way to go. What you're going to do is do this. Why fuck around? You want to make some guitas for the holiday season. Join now, and my bookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar. You're sitting there going, Joey, what are you talking about? They'll match your deposit dollar for dollar. Use promo code CHURCH, CHURCH. CHURCH. Grab a pen. CHURCH. Did you get that? Right, to activate your offer. Visit my bookie online today, and don't forget to use the promo code CHURCH. Again, CHURCH when you're creating your account, because you can claim up to $1,000 in free play. Again, my bookie. You play, you win, you get paid. Crick that fucking muley, because we're not fucking around on Monday morning. That's as good as it motherfucking gets. I got Sammy Trips in this motherfucker.
Hello.
I got Eddie Bravo in this motherfucker.
What?
I got Tin Foil. I got the Christ Killer, the original Jew of Jews. Happy Rosh Hashanah to you and your family, brother.
Thank you very much, buddy.
To you and all the Jewish community that's part of the church. Happy Rosh Hashanah. You got another year to be a bad motherfucking Jew. And don't let me see you driving a Volkswagen. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a little hate in your heart to those fucking Germans still. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. What's going on, Tinfoil family?
Killing it, dude. We're killing it. Thanks for having me
Killing it.
on, dude.
Thank you
Thanks for having us on, dude.
No, please, get on the mark. I want you to look good on the tape.
Boom, there we go.
Boom. Who's better? Remember 20 years ago when somebody told you to get on the mark?
Yeah.
And you looked around like you didn't know what the fuck they were talking about?
Isn't that white tape on the ground?
Yeah, get on your mark. Like they'll tell you to stand in, and they put like a body double in there for 2 minutes. They put tape around you, and they'll tell you to step into the mark, and you keep fucking stepping. I didn't know what that meant when I did basketball.
Oh, you didn't know what a mark meant?
I had no idea.
Wow.
Can you imagine being on a fucking... When I did the pilot for CBS, like, I was so bad. Like, you ever do a job and every day your lines got shorter and shorter? Like, when I started, I had like 8 pages. Then I went to 5. Then I went to 2.
Really?
Then I went to 1 line. And then I went to like a half a line. Like, what's it going to be?
Like inspired.
Did you go, what the fuck's going on? Did you go?
No, because I knew I sucked. And I was green around the gills.
But you still had enough to book it.
I didn't book it. They saw me on stage in Seattle. And they booked me for a CBS pilot off a fucking stage in Seattle.
That's
And when I went to
amazing.
the table read, you know, when you go to a table read, you could fake the funk a little bit. But once I got on the set, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't say nothing to nobody. Then I booked the commercial. Then I booked basketball, and I was basically a cokehead. And basketball, like that, that's all I did every night. And I never forget them going, step up to the mark, because you had to roller skate in. Remember my scene, you have to roller skate in. By that part, I had robbed all the roller skates. So there was no roller skates that was size 11. They were all over at the Swiss Chalet. I stole every day I would steal a new
What'd you do with all the roller skates?
I would take the roller, they would put, you know how when you shoot a movie,
Yeah.
you put your clothes in the room?
Yeah.
They would put my clothes in the room, and I'd park. This is when 9/11, pre-9/11. So if you knew the guards or they knew you from the Comedy Store or something, They let me park right next to the trailer every day. I don't know how I did it. Looking back, that's how fucking a crazy motherfucker I was. And I would take my roller skates, and I stopped at like the Swiss Chalet off of like a Culver City, one of those, they used to have like one down there, like, and I went in there and I was pulling like the old scams from the old days. How you doing? My uncle gave me a pair of roller skates. They don't fit. And they looked at them, they're like, we'll give you $149 for them. So I knew I would get $150 a day if I brought in roller skates.
Oh my God.
So every time I would work, I would steal somebody's roller skates from the set. And then I just started going, there was no cameras then. I would just go to the truck where the roller skates are. And I would just take a box of roller skates. If somebody would ask me, why do you have size 14? I want to,
Who checks roller skates?
who checks roller skates? Bro, by the time I shot my scene, like I was like on the third week of showing up and not shooting. I would just go there basically to watch Jenny McCarthy, and watch those two guys.
She's so hot.
Who were the two guys that wrote that?
The guy from South Park.
I didn't know.
South Park.
Like I had no idea who I was working with. People were kissing my ass, like, bringing me sodas. I didn't know. And then I'll never forget that I went out and I got fucked up because I kept going in there just to hang out.
Oh, you were.
Like I was shooting a movie. Like they would make me come in at 8. And it'd be 8 o'clock at night, and they go, "Oh, you go home now." And I go, "When am I going to shoot?" And they go, "I don't know."
Oh,
Let's just
that's
come back
the
tomorrow.
worst.
So the night I
It's
go
the
out,
worst.
I stayed out till 7 snorting coke by the Hollywood sign with some crazy people after the store, and I had to go all the way to the Forum. Right, that's where
Yeah.
the Forum to shoot. And when I got there, they were like, "You're the first scene up." Like I've been snorting coke till 6.
Dude.
It's 7:30. They called me in for rehearsal,
Oh my God.
and guys fell apart at the seams. First of all, they couldn't find roller skates for me. They're like, "Where are your roller skates?" I'm like,
You're
"I
like
don't know."
that Swiss Chalet.
I'm like, I don't know where my roller skates are. Every day my roller skates are missing. So I got out of the roller skates. So if you watch the scene, I have to skate up like I'm roller skating. And then he says a line, I say a line, and we both skate away.
Oh, you didn't have skates.
No.
What a great actor you were, because I never knew that.
So when we went up to each other, like, dog, I was going back to back. And the guy's going, cut. It took maybe 4 hours to shoot that. That's how bad I was.
Oh, you're so funny.
When they said cut, you could tell, like, when I walked away, they all threw their fucking speakers on the phone. Like, that's how bad I was. And when I got the call to how many guests do you want to come bring to the premiere, I was like, who is this? Like, this is Johnny Bananas from Paramount or whatever company who did the movie. We want to know how many people are you bringing to the premiere. I go, premiere what? And they're like, basketball. Because when I left there, I'm like, they cut me. That's how bad I was. Like, that's how crazy bad I was.
I don't remember the movie. Did you make it in the movie?
Yeah, see if you can find it, Lee.
Dude, so would you just go all over town selling roller skates? Swiss Chalet's got to be like, why does this guy got 90 roller
At that
skates?
place, they was Played Against Sports.
Oh, yeah.
Play Against Sports would give me like $75. They don't give a fuck. They were brand new roller skates. I didn't give a fuck. It was 2 packages from Chewy.
Right.
And a 20 for the bartender to drink. That's how you do math.
Yeah.
You need $60.
Yeah.
2 packages from Chewy, 1 to do there, and 1 to do later on with some crazy chick you bump into, and 1 that, and then $20 to tip Huck. That's your philosophy when you're a
What a
cokehead.
wonderful.
The craziest party I've ever been to was, it was a Halloween party by the South Park guys, Matt Stone and
Yeah.
Trey Parker. Dude, those
They're brilliant, those two.
I got invited to that
Bro,
party.
this is 20 years and they're still on TV, but here it is.
Dude. Oh, let's see it.
I don't know if this is it for sure.
Undergoing a life-saving operation tonight. The fans here, of course, all wearing yellow
You're in the
ribbons
scene?
in support of this brave little boy.
And his hero, Joe Cooper, promising to hit 3 home runs, a promise that could mean the difference between life and death
This is
for
great.
this brave little boy. Hey, Pete!
Oh shit!
Coop tonight!
Look how young you
I
look.
don't know, but he's 1 for 11 and he smells like Christian Slater.
Coop in the home run circle, getting ready to take his
So
shot.
I'm supposed to
Nailed it, dude.
I'm
Nailed
supposed to
it.
have roller
His
skates.
second home run of the game.
You can take this off now. I'm through with embarrassing myself.
Hilarious.
Bro, that's after an all night. That's snorting coke from 11:30
That's so
to
funny,
about
dude.
5:45. I lived in off of Riverside, right in Studio City. The person I was doing coke with dropped me off. I went upstairs. I lay down in bed with my girlfriend. I still remember her getting up, going, "How did you sleep last night?" I was like, "Oh, it was a great night last night." And next thing you know, she's driving me to the Forum in traffic, and I get there and like, "You're the first one up."
You know their first movie, Orgasmo? Did you ever see
Yeah.
That was their first movie. The villain in it, I forget what his name was in the movie, but it's like a karate guy, and there's like a karate scene. But that guy went to jiu-jitsu with me at Jean Jacques. We got our black belts together.
Really?
Yeah, his name is David Dunn, and he was in the movie. And we were pretty good friends. And this is like 1998. He calls me up on Halloween Day. It's 1990. And he goes, "Dude, do you want to go to South Park Halloween party?"
Oh my
And I
God.
thought, fuck yeah. He goes, "Dude, they gave me 2 invites and he was going to bring a chick and he had 1 extra ticket." He goes, "It's tonight, but you have to have a costume." And I didn't have a costume ready. So I said, fuck it. I went to the Halloween store on Hollywood Boulevard, you know, that big Halloween store. I went in there and my plan was, the only thing I could think of is to get I had a Chinese hat, right? One of them Chinese hats, because I went to Coachella and I had that. And I go, you know what? I'll go to this party as a Chinese guy with a machine gun, you know what I mean? Like Viet Cong. I thought I was going to be. So I went to the Halloween store and I couldn't find a machine gun. Turns out they're illegal. You can't have machine gun, like toy machine guns. So that fucked up my idea. I'm like, fuck, what could I do now? So I'm like walking around the Halloween store and then I see those Billy Bob fake teeth, you know, like they're like
Yeah.
fake teeth. And I looked at that and I thought, shit, maybe I could be a homeless dude. So I got those teeth, and then I had this idea, I'm going to be a fucking panhandler, homeless guy. So I had the teeth, fucked up Billy Bob teeth. I went to Pick and Save that was on Vine and Sunset. It's gone now. They just knocked it down. But there was a Pick and Save there. I went there because I needed like a Bud Light hat. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm gonna get so I found a Coors Ice hat.
Oh,
so
that's
I found
even better.
It's like $12, and I needed to make it really dirty. So I scraped it on the ground, got it all dirty. I just wanted to be a panhandler with the teeth, with a Coors Ice hat, all. And then my neighbor, he was a construction worker. He was a plumber, so he had dirty, nasty shirts. So I got one of his fucking hellified stained shirts, and put on some dirty jeans, and I had these Reeboks. From when I used to dye carpet for a living. Instead of cleaning the carpet, you put dye, and it's like for people who don't want to buy new carpet, you could dye your fucking carpet.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work, but I was in the industry, and I had Reeboks that had like 9 different layers of dye on them, and I took off the shoestrings, and so I had and then I got a gigantic crescent wrench and I just put it in my back pocket, and they were gonna come pick me up. I'm like, fuck, I'm a panhandler, fuck it, I'm like this bum, right? So I wanted to test it out. So they show up, they pull up in my parking lot, and I told David, I go, hey, listen, I'm gonna come out with my costume, don't tell your girl what's up, I'm just gonna try to scare her. So they pull up, and I walk up, and this, you know, I just went up and started asking for change, like right up to the car, and she freaked out because she saw the teeth. You see 4 teeth. And I'm like, I look like a dirty panhandler. So she freaked out. And I thought, okay, cool, this is going to work. So I go to this fucking party. It's right there. It's at the Quixote Studios next to where the Trader Joe's used to be on Santa Monica. Remember the Trader Joe's on Santa Monica and like Gardner? There was a Trader
the street
Joe's.
from your old gym?
Exactly.
Where I tapped Keen Ivory Waynes. I don't know if you guys know that, but I tapped him.
So there's the Quixote Studios there, right?
Right.
So they had a fucking party, dude. I don't know how much money this party cost, but these are like 4 gigantic studios, 4 of them, and each room was one room would just had 100 couches, you know, and then the next room. Let me back up a little bit. We show up, and I don't know which one is Trey Parker and which one's Matt Stone. Which one's the one with the afro? That's Matt or Trey? Trey's the blonde-haired guy. Okay, so the blonde-haired guy, he's in like a Batman, like a superhero outfit. It looks like Batman, but it has E on his chest, and he was Captain E. And in his utility belt, dude, he had like fucking $10,000 worth of fucking E on his utility bill.
Really?
Yes, right?
That's a great party.
Oh, dude, it was the greatest party I've ever been to in my motherfucking life. So we show up and everyone has, a superhero outfit, Dale Earnhardt outfit. Everyone's got these outfits and everyone's walking around going, cool outfit, cool costume, cool. And then when they would look at me, they'd be like scared. They didn't say shit to me. They wouldn't even look me in the eye. I'm like, fuck, these guys are really. Everybody was scared of me.
They're like, who brought the homeless dude?
Who got the homeless dude in here? So instantly, I took like fucking 2 or 3 hits of E, dude. I was flying. I had these fake Billy Bob teeth. I had this gigantic crescent wrench, and I'm walking around. Nobody thinks it's a costume. Everyone thinks this is fucking crazy.
It's like a charity event, like Make-A-Wish.
Either some crazy panhandler or like some crazy like handyman on the studios. And one room, like I said, one gigantic studio was 100 couches for people to be on, eat, all fucked up. Another studio was all like Arabian type couches with I don't even know what the hell you would call it, but they're like the couches on the ground, and they got all these mosquito nets and shit. That's what they look like, but it looked like Saudi Arabian or whatever, right? And then another room was a fucking club with a DJ, and on the floor there was little rooms, little booths, like porta potties all over the place where you could go make out with chicks in these little porta potty rooms. They weren't porta potties, but they
This is the greatest party ever.
Yes, it was the greatest party ever. So there was a club with a DJ with all these porta potties. People were dancing, and then you go to another studio, couches on the floor where you could lay down. Everyone's all fucked up.
Right.
It was fucking nuts. It was nuts. So I'm walking around scaring everybody. I'm having the time of my life, just scared because I'd go up to everybody and ask them for change. I just wanted to ask them for change. I go, you got some 50 cents? And they'd be like, maybe. Let me see. People were fucking giving me money.
You booked it.
I was having so much fucking fun panhandling, right?
Yeah.
And then every now and then I'd see this guy. He's like 6'5". He had the fucking Billy Bob teeth too. Big fucking dude. And he had a wife beater, and he was walking around scaring people too. And we would cross paths and we'd look at each other and we're like, are we doing the same shit? And then he would be gone. And then I'd just be panhandling. I was just having the time of my life panhandling. And then I'd see him again. And then we'd bump into each other again.
How much money did you make?
And I'm like, and all of a sudden he was fucked up. Everybody there was fucked up on ecstasy. And we were fucking fried out of, and then all of a sudden we bumped into each other, and it was like this weird fucking connection we had, because we didn't even talk. We didn't have any regular conversations. We would just hate each other. You know what I mean? We just hated each other. And I called security over, and he had a Billy Bob teeth. He had Billy Bob teeth. And with a gold tooth. Mine didn't have a gold tooth. His Billy Bob teeth had a gold tooth. So we would call security. I would call security over and go, well, what's going on? And go, he has my gold tooth. and then
you're just
no, this guy said that's
right
my
now.
gold tooth. And I go, no, that's my gold tooth. And I pull out the crescent wrench, and he'd open his mouth. And like those robots in Pirates of the Caribbean, how they look like shit. We would just get into this robot state. We'd bring in the security, and I'd like want my gold tooth. So I'm trying to get my gold tooth back from him. And he's like this, and I'm like that. And the security.
What time is it?
The security, it's all night.
How many hits of E are you on at this point?
Like 5. We kept doing this all night to security. I kept calling security, and I kept asking them to get my gold tooth from this motherfucker. And eventually the security threatened to kick us out if we kept fucking around.
It's like, okay, the joke's over.
Yes. So then we went to the dance floor. We went to the regular club.
You and your new buddy.
We walk in. You going to take a piss? No. We walk in to the club, and everyone's dancing, and me and him, we look scary as fuck. So we look like gangsters, and we are loving scaring people. We're having the greatest time scaring the fuck out of these people. So when we walk on the dance floor, everybody clears out. Everyone's dancing, having a good time, and then everybody clears out, and we're walking around like we're gonna fuck some people up. And at the height of their fear, all of a sudden we start dancing like we're gay.
You are
We start
so
dancing like we're
hilarious.
gay on each other, and people going, "What the fuck is going on?" And then we would stop, and then we would mad dog everybody and walk around and just look at people and just scare them, and then be like, "Oh fuck, there's white people from fucking like actors and shit like that in the industry, scared as fuck of us. We look scary." And then at the height of that fear, boom, we just start dancing like we're gay on each other. It's like we're in West Hollywood in Mickey's, and we're dancing. We're just trying to mind fuck these people.
You
and
are
then,
so funny.
and then we would stop and then get gangster on everybody. So people didn't know if we were gay or if we were going to kill them. Crazy part.
Maybe you were gay and going to kill them.
What's the craziest party you ever went to in Hollywood? How long have you been out here, Sam?
I have been out here since, 2000.
And what's the craziest party you ever went to out here?
I think the craziest party I ever went to was when I worked at Crunch way back in the day. I worked at Crunch, and like those people party, dude. Like people who work, like the trainers, they go fucking hard in the paint, bro. Like they're incredibly good-looking people, and they party fucking hard. And it's so funny because once in a while I always see my old ecstasy dealer. He books commercials left and right. I'm so proud of him. I'm like, look at that. Look at good old boy booking fucking commercials. But yeah, I mean, they went to this huge house, everybody on coke, just getting fucking lit up. Everybody's
you've been to parties up in the Hollywood Hills and shit. Both
Yeah.
of you guys.
Yeah.
That was the greatest party, and that was 1998.
Yeah, I mean,
That was
I've never been anything
I was
like
in my
that. I'm trying to
20s.
think about what
I was
I've been to.
28 when I went to that motherfucker.
I mean, I
So
used to
that was
go-
a long time ago, 20 years ago.
I used to go to like Beecher's Madhouse in Vegas. That was crazy, dude. Crazy.
What year is that? I remember that was like
2002, maybe?
the premier place to even do comedy, and they only like Robert Kelly.
They like Robert Kelly, Steve. I did well every time but once. And yeah, dude. But it was the greatest party ever, dude. And it was like an assault on your fucking senses. Midgets, fire, dancing, like sword swallowing. And then you'd have to walk out and do stand-up. It was crazy.
And you'd be on X.
No, dude. I was sober then. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. You know, I wasn't going to do
Have
anything.
you ever been to a party where you were drugged up and like crazy shit was going on around Hollywood?
Like Illuminati style?
No, like once you told me that. I remember we were having a conversation one time, and you were telling me that these dudes in Hollywood take the Viagra, and they would mix it with ecstasy and get a turkey baster and shoot the combination in their ass.
I never heard of that. I never heard.
told me that stuff at the store,
I'm
and I was
sure,
like dying.
but
I never went to those
no,
parties.
I don't know. I don't know about parties with that being the theme, but people, you know, when you do ecstasy, MDMA, you want to fuck really bad, more than
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
More than
Yeah.
ever. You want to fuck for 8 hours, but the problem is for guys, it could fuck with your dick. It basically just you get limp dick. But you want to fuck so much, but you got limp dick. But then you
That's
throw,
coke too,
yeah,
man.
But then
Coke
you throw,
is the worst.
But it does. But coke doesn't make you horny like MDMA.
Oh yeah,
No,
everything makes me horny.
But
2 lines
ecstasy's
of coke,
different.
and you're walking around.
Women love coke,
No, that's
dude.
the-
I don't know
you're right.
what it is,
You're right.
dude. It's
It
like,
does-
get weird.
Coke
But
does make you
MDMA
horny.
sends you somewhere else.
It's you wanna eat pussy for 5 hours straight. Your neck could be killing you, but you're like, let me just keep eating.
Like
your
I
pussy.
never did all that. Like I had so many. My problems were with coke. So when everybody was doing ecstasy and everything else, my philosophy was why mess with it. I got enough problems on my own, just being me. Never mind MDMA and pills and nothing like that. And then one of the first times I did ecstasy, I was in Miami. It was a Sunday night, and it was a 7:00 show. It was with Pablo fucking AKA
Oh my
brother.
God.
And he came up to me, and he does what I do to Lee. He goes, "What's wrong with your tooth?" I go, "Nothing." He goes, "Open your mouth. You got something in it." I went like this, and he threw ecstasy in my mouth.
Oh my God.
Pablo Francisco, and I fucking...
Oh shit!
Like,
He's
one
got
of
a
the
bit about.
best.
He's got the greatest ecstasy bit ever. Pablo Francisco,
please.
YouTube.
Oh, dude, that came
Ecstasy.
out. He came out of
It's
the
the
womb
greatest
with
bit ever.
45 murder, dude.
Yeah.
He gave me a car, man.
He's one of the greatest
He gave
comedians
me a
I've ever.
car.
Yeah, no,
ever
no, no,
heard.
no, no.
He's one of the
He was-
greatest.
Yeah.
He's the greatest.
But
He
he
gave
was
me a
the first
car.
time.
One of the greatest.
Then the second time was, you guys remember Adrian Shawshank? The hot waitress from the store, the blonde hippie chick.
Yeah.
One night, me and her did it, and we were going to go do crazy stuff, and her boyfriend showed up. So I went home, fell asleep, and got up at 5 in the morning to piss. And I was in full effect.
You're
of
still
ecstasy.
going.
And then the other time I got arrested was I woke up, it was 1997. I woke up and I was living with Josh Wolf in Seattle. And he goes, bro, I didn't do this ecstasy this weekend. You want it? I go, fuck yeah, I'll take it. It was a Monday morning. It had to be 11 in the morning.
11 in the morning,
I
you're
popped
doing
the
E?
by myself, just to go
Just at the
downtown
house?
Seattle. And I go to downtown Seattle. My ex calls me up. And I go over there and I'm giving her a stab. And all of a sudden the cops are knocking on the door. And because we got restraining orders against each other.
God.
And she told the neighbor, if you see Joey Diaz, call the police. The neighbor saw me, call the cops. While I was giving her a stab, and I remember I hit under the bed. They drew their guns, and the bed was going up and down. From me breathing, the bed was going up and down. They're like, come out from under the bed. So here I am at the police station with no shirt on, like at 2 o'clock, burning.
Just rolling.
Rolling on ecstasy, and they're fingerprinting me, and I'm looking at his hands, petting them and shit. Like I had never done it like guys, I'd never been to those Hollywood parties.
No, dude, I
people
didn't
talk
go to a
about.
lot of
I
them.
thought you
I don't
guys
know.
were Hollywood
No.
party guys.
I never
No.
really, dude. Not really, dude.
I hung out with Joe back in those days, and Joe hated that shit. So I was always like, dude, let's fucking go to some parties. And Joe's like, those are fucking trash people, you know. So
I go to these parties. When I did go to those parties, it was always when I got asked to work it in some weird way. That's how I get into these parties. You know, I did a bikini contest. It was really funny at the Key Club one time, and this is when I was drinking hard, like hard. And this is when I got paid in free in drink tickets. So I didn't care about money. They're like, hey, dude, here's 10 drink tickets. Boom. And we're talking Jaeger Bomb, Jack Daniels, boom, boom, boom. Hadn't really found Coke at that moment. But, man, I was so drunk. So I start the bikini contest, and this one chick, she wasn't the prettiest, but she had the will to win, okay? She goes out and just, boom, just releases the monkey to the crowd. Boom, boom, boom. Just shows everybody her snatch. Crowd goes crazy, right? I'm so shit-faced. The whole thing is rigged. It's like the owner's girlfriend is in the contest. She's supposed to win the whole thing. The girl who showed her pussy is the number one. I get handed the list and it says number one. I just read the winner is number one, and that's the monkey that came out. Dude, the owner went nuts. Get him the fuck out of here. She wasn't supposed to win. This other person was supposed to win. I'm like, fuck, dude. So I feel like I'm floating. I'm just blackout drunk. They got me, the bouncers, these huge bouncers walked me out, right? They put me in my car. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try to drive home, man. I'm going to try to fucking go for it. I drive. I literally go 20 feet. I get pulled over, right? Cops. I'm like, well, tonight's the night, right? So the cops they get me out to go, so what's going on? Because they could tell something was on, right? So I said, you want to know the truth? And they go, yeah. I go, I told them the fucking story of the fucking girl showing her monkey. Big pussy. I thought she was going to fucking win. They said no. I had to take the crown off the girl who I thought won, who showed everybody her snatch, and put it on the guy's girlfriend who was the actual winner. This girl's crying. I'm getting beat up and thrown out. I tell the cops that. They put me back in my car and they give me a police escort all the way home. That's probably one of the craziest shit ever.
Because you were honest. While we're here, the other day I mentioned Eddie Bravo, because I was out with Eddie. Used to make me laugh, man. Eddie has always made me laugh. But Eddie has the same problem. I grew up with two guys that I adored. One was Stinky, because he was Italian. Like, if you saw him, he was Italian. But once he had 3 drinks, his grandmother was American Indian. And he was just... And I had another friend that hung up with. His name was Jimmy Burkle. The guy was the personality, great personality, great guy. But brother, when he drank, he was really smart. But when he drank, his eyebrow would go up and he would start smoking cigarettes and act differently. So we used to call him the Marquis de Sade because he was crazy. Like, whenever he drank, he'd just go crazy. But, I met Eddie a couple times. We went out, and there was 3 particular times. There was one night in Austin where you and me and Joe went out to do a show, and then we went to Fogo de Chao, and you started drinking that Fogo de fucking Chao. And that night, Eddie he forgot where he was staying at his hotel. and he went to the wrong hotel, so they chased you down the street, and you fell and you slid on your knees. And
Damn, you remember that shit.
come on, dog. You used to have some good when you were single.
Yeah.
And I admire people who have a life. And I admire people, like, anybody can hang out with people who are cool. You know what I'm saying? You know those people, like, I'm going to hang out with Teddy Diggs. And no, I like people who go out and make something happen by themselves, because that was always me.
Right.
I knew how to fucking get an 8-ball, 2 joints, and go to a neighborhood bar by myself.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
I went out by myself all the fucking time. Guys wanted to come out with me, and I'm like, okay, you can come, but you got to drive your own car because I'm not going to drive you home.
Right.
Like, you got to, I mean, I go by I would, between 88 and 92, I went out by myself. You know, those were the...
And that's your best bet.
Yeah.
As a single man, you getting those clicks that we're doing this, Vegas, that sucks. I always believe to start a little neighborhood bar, and if you don't, the neighborhood bar isn't good, then you go to the big bar to meet more people. But 9 out of 10, the neighborhood bar got everything you're looking for.
Keep it simple.
The little married chick, she's unhappy. Her husband just took the second job, but she's dying to do a line of coke. You got that bitch. It's over. You got the blowjob, something. You know what I'm saying? Like, Eddie always had the classic Eddie Bravo story is when he went to Germany with Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
And he fucking woke up in the middle of the night and realized he was late. Break it down, Eddie.
Man, that
I love
there's so much to that Germany story. Joe wrote a blog about it. It was so crazy. Joe wrote it because he was fucking mad at me. Oh,
what
man.
year was this?
This is
He was smoking already.
2007, 2008. I think it was the first time. It was the first time the UFC went to Germany, and it was Cologne, Germany. And man, after the UFC, which is a Saturday night there, generally Sunday morning is the flight home.
Right.
And when we're overseas, I like, because we went to England a bunch of times, and we would do this in England. After the UFC, don't go to sleep. Party all night, right until you know, and then when you get on that plane the next morning, you pass out.
Just sleep.
For fucking 10 hours, didn't you wake up, you're in LA. It's the perfect system.
Right.
It sucks being awake, you know, on a 10-hour flight.
Oh, it's the worst.
Dude, it's torture. So you want to stay up and party just so that you could just sleep through that flight. So I party all goddamn night. Joe didn't come out, but I went out. I don't know who the fuck I was with. It was an insane night in Cologne, Germany, and
They say Germany's amazing.
I got back to the hotel probably 7 in the morning or something, and our car, me and Joe's car, it was Joe's car, and I'm just like tagging along with Joe, you know what I mean? It's his car.
Right.
Was picking us up like at 9. I get back at 7, right? I walk in to the hotel, and I'm a zombie. I'm completely out. I don't remember any of this. This is just, I must have been, because Joe saw me. He was in the lobby, and he's like, and I went up to my room. I tried to pack, I guess. You know, and I have a certain way of packing. Everyone's got a little system, right? In my backpack, my laptop,
right,
and I got my toiletries in my backpack, and in my in my suitcase got all my clothes and just basically all my clothes. Right. So I don't remember getting back to the hotel. I don't remember Joe saying we're leaving in 2 hours. I don't remember any of that.
You just went hard.
You know what I remember? All I remember is it's black and it's and then my phone's going off. My phone's going off, and I wake up and I'm in the back seat of some car going like on the Autobahn, racing to the airport. And I don't know where the fuck I'm at. And I look at my phone and it says Joe Rogan on it. It said actually Joie Wash. That's what it said. So it says Joie Wash. And I'm like, and I answered it. And he said, where the fuck are you? You took my car. And I'm like, boom. And I hung up. And I'm like, and I asked the driver. I asked the driver. I go, where the fuck are we going? He turns back and goes, we're going to the airport. I'm like, fuck. And then Joe calls again. I'm like, fuck. And I just send it to voicemail. I'm like, holy shit. And then I opened up my backpack. My one shoe is in my backpack. No laptop, just one shoe in my back. And then I open up the suitcase, and my laptop's in the fucking suitcase. So I feel like, oh my God, where the fuck am I?
Dude, I've had those
And then
nights.
Joe called again and goes, dude, you took my car. And I don't remember anything. So I must have just tried to pack like in a zombie state.
Yeah.
I packed in a zombie state, and I went out, and that driver must have said Joe Rogan, and I must have said yes. And he goes, jump on in, and he just put me in the car, and we drove away. And then, I don't remember any of that. I came to life. It's like the beginning of a movie, like, just black, and then you hear a phone, and all of a sudden, boom, my eyes open.
You're like, reality.
Joe Rogan trying to call me. I have no the last thing I remember, I'm doing shots at some bar in Germany. I don't remember getting home. I don't remember going to the hotel, packing, and then getting in the car. I woke up in the back seat of some fucking car on the Autobahn, racing to the airport. So I get to the airport, right? So Joe takes a taxi. He jumps in a taxi. And he is so mad at me at the airport.
Yeah.
He would not talk to me. He didn't talk to me the whole time at the airport. All the whole flight back, we're sitting next to each other like first class, and he didn't say a word to me. And he was mad probably for about a week. And then he wrote a blog, and then he realized, okay, it's over. He should kind of like, laugh about it. So then it became a joke to him, but he was fucking furious, dude. But there's a blog somewhere on the internet. I don't know. I don't know if it's got to still be up there, but it's about that story.
You black out ever trips in your...
I was thinking about this. I did a show at Maz Jobrani in Washington, D.C. when it was the accident. It wasn't the Exodus of Evil. It was, what was it before that? Arabian Nights. And I was so blessed to get in at the Comedy Store because she needed Middle Eastern comics. So I kind of fudged the math and got in on it, right? So we were doing some tours. He took me to do a gig with him in Washington, D.C. in this giant theater. And I got to open for him. And man, Maz Jobrani puts on a show, dude.
Puts on a show.
And his crowd is fun, dude. His crowd is fun. So we go there, and, so it's in Washington, D.C., and, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so, everybody's around talking politics, and I'm just, like, sowing seeds of doubt, and I fucking love it, right? Well, there's this one blonde chick, and she just starts going in at me hard. And we're arguing the whole time. Boom, 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 boom. And then something happens, ends up drinking. I black out. I wake up in my hotel room. My clothes are ripped. Everything's in my fucking hotel room is smashed. My phone, my computer's broken. My suits are all ripped. And I go, what the fuck happened? We go, I don't know. You fucking started making out with that blonde chick, and then you guys took off, and then that was the end of the. I have no clue. What I mean, blood on the wall. I don't fucking know what the fuck happened.
You didn't find out if you had intercourse?
Dude, I knocked it out of the bottom.
But when it doesn't remember, there have been a couple times where I blacked out and I didn't remember the night before, but it was clear, like you wake up and you're in a Vegas hotel and you still got a condom on your dick, you know what I mean? And you're like, you did have sex, but you don't, just because you don't remember, it feels like it really didn't happen. Like it didn't happen. Like if you don't remember it.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't, because it feels like it never happened because you have no memories of it.
I had a blackout drunk when I worked with Vince Vaughn too one time. I fucking blacked out hard, dude.
Where?
When we did the Support the Troops show, I did like 5 shots of Jaeger before I went up, and it just so the show was it was just after 9/11, and Vince Vaughn's like, hey, come out and help us raise some money. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. That'll be fun. So it's in Dewey Beach, Delaware, and it's at this country music bar, right? And it's like not a huge venue, but it's a pretty big venue. And it was first come, first serve, right? So the doors open at noon and the show's until 8. It is sold out at around 12:10. It is packed. And they are drinking all day, dude. All fucking day, right? So I'm like, fuck, man, it's going to be crazy. So I go up, Ahmed goes up, and because it's after 9/11, he's Arab. It's a hard set, It's a hard set, dude. It's just like, you're walking into fucking murder at that point, dude. You got no chance. So then I think they put Sebastian up, and then I went up. And it was going well, but I started getting heckled by this chick. Like I was just getting heckled. And I threw out some stupid line like, hey, why don't you just leave and go fuck your cousin? Some stupid hick line. Well, she was there with like 80 people. And they turn hard, dude. And they boo, boo, boo. And to this day when I hear sha-na-na-na, na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye, I still get chills.
Is that what they started doing?
Oh, yeah, they started singing that. I'm like, okay, not today. I tried every Comedy Store thing I had at that time. So I get off stage, right? The whole cast of the Wedding Crashers is upstairs, right? So I just bombed for the troops, and I bombed in front of the fucking Wedding Crasher people. And they were like, oh, you did great. All I could focus on is Owen Wilson's nose and how fucking... I was so drunk. It was so fucking huge. It was so huge.
You used to get fucked up, Sammy.
I used to get fucked.
One night, you got mad at me for something. Just one night out of something.
I thought you got mad at me about something.
No, I think I went up on stage. At that time, one of my favorite people in the world, who still is, was my Armenian drug dealer. He would make me fucking howl. And I said something when I brought you up. You were drinking.
Yeah, I was
we were
an
in the main room. And I wasn't even mad at you like that. I didn't know you were drinking until after the situation went down. I said, keep me going, and then I went on stage. Well, I went up before you and was talking about my Armenian drug dealer. And you went up there and took it really personal. As I was walking out of the main room, you're like, fuck him.
I don't remember that.
And then I didn't, stay around to bait you because I had my own addiction problems.
Yeah.
The last thing I want is to get into a fist fight with Sam, and the cops come, and now he's not drinking and I'm not snorting. What a waste of time. You know what I'm saying?
I don't remember that,
So
and if I did it, I'm super sorry.
No. I remember approaching you.
I feel awful.
I remember, no, don't ever feel
I used to scorch the earth, dog.
No. I remember saying it to you a couple of days, like, Trips, what was your problem the other night? It was just a joke. My Armenian drug dealer is real. I love him, like my friend. And you were like, I didn't like the way you portrayed him or something. Then I left you alone. But the thing I've always loved about you that is so juvenile, but so to a comic. Like, as a comic, once you become a comedian, you get to a certain level of comedy, 8, 9 years, you start respecting people because of their comedy. Even if you don't like them.
Yeah.
If they make you laugh.
For sure.
They make you laugh.
For sure.
Get the politics and your self-righteousness.
Right.
And shove it up your mother's ass. At that time, you would always come up to me. You were a young kid. And you'd always come up to me and talk to me about Pablo. Pablo was your world. He was your mentor. And that was our connection. And I liked you. I naturally liked you. But the night I fell in love with you, and I've been on your podcast, you've been on my podcast, and I just want to reiterate this to people. At the time, I'm like, Sam's just a young kid, I don't know whether I like him or not. I was at that point. I just know he's a regular at the store.
Right.
So that has to make me love him as a comic. I have to love him. As a comic, he's one of my brothers at the Comedy Store, but he had a bit, as dumb as this sounds, about Asians eating ecstasy and going out and stuff like that. And I'll never forget going into it. This is why you have to understand that there's a point in comedy where you have to love the people you're around on that stage. If not, you're not going to grow.
Right.
But I remember watching you, and we'll say this in public because it's no big deal. This has to be 2003, right?
Yeah.
2004. And you were committing to this bit. And that's as crazy as it sounds, that's when I learned about the word commitment. And then years later, I heard Rogan say it. And I put it all together that even if you're bombing with a joke, as long as you believe in that joke,
right.
It's the people who go, let me tell you about Kennedy getting shot in the head. And all of a sudden, meanwhile, it's not going, and they drop it.
Right.
And I'm looking at you, and what you didn't see was that it was the 7 o'clock show. It's people my age, like they were there on like a 50 and over date night.
Dude, I'm a crazy person.
And no, but you're doing 23-year-old material.
Right.
Like ecstasy and fucking.
Right.
And this Chinese guy. What was the joke about the Chinese guy?
About how Asians love ecstasy.
Asians love ecstasy.
Because how smart they are,
Oh, my God.
Their visuals are like fucking Xbox with fucking Dolby Digital sound, right? The rest of us is like 8-bit.
But me being, me being an old guy at that time I didn't know anything about ecstasy. And I kept watching and saying, going, look at this fucking lunatic. He doesn't know that his audience is 20 years older than he is. You know how you learn something? Remember I asked you last night before the show, after the show at the Ice House? I said to you specifically, what did you learn tonight? Because you always learn something. When he walked off the stage, he goes, I did my A shit. And they just stared at me, but all of a sudden he looked at the audience because there's no lights at the store.
Yeah.
So you don't know who you're performing
It's
to.
the worst.
You looked at them and go, yeah, they're 55. They don't know anything about ecstasy.
Yeah.
They know about Reefer and Ted Nugent. And after that was when I fell in love with you as a comedian. I go, because he didn't give up. Most comics would have just given up.
Yeah.
You kept pushing the ecstasy and you were selling the fucking Asian aspect of it. So that's
use that because you like that joke. I use that as the showcase for the set that I showcased the final showcase for Mitzi. So I got picked up doing that joke because Duncan pulled me aside. He goes, "I got your showcase. This is how you get in with Mitzi. You do one joke about your ethnic group. You do one joke about your either one of your parents, and then your favorite joke." So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this bit about
3
my mom
minutes.
being a power walker,
Right, yeah.
being Armenian, going to the beach, and then I'm going to do the Asian ecstasy bit because Joey likes that bit. So that's the bit I'm going to do. And I got picked up.
What were the other two?
I had a power walkers.
Okay.
They're not.
Tell me about it.
It's just this whole thing about I'm a power. Well, no, you're a lazy runner. That's what you are, right? But that's what power.
Oh, I remember that.
And I had this whole bit about that. And then I had
What
a
about
bit
your mom?
that she was a power walker. Then I had a bit about when I go to the beach and just I'm so furry, man. I take her shirt off, babies start crying, women in the corner puking, people calling the fucking SPCA right on me, and I have this whole bit I did.
And
on
who
that.
was your clique? You had a little clique.
Who did I?
met a
Oh, Brett
man.
Ernst, Sebastian,
A little younger than
Maz
me.
Gibrani.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Just fucking
good
amazing.
crowd, good crew.
Good crew.
I love the Comedy Store, dude.
I do too. And I talk to Maz all the time.
Yeah,
like
for
me and
sure.
Maz talk on the phone. all
For
the
sure.
time. It's funny. One of my funniest Eddie stories was let me tell you how much I loved Eddie. Eddie called me one time to give me a message from Rogan. And I looked at the phone. This is how good I am with numbers. For you motherfuckers who thinks I don't know numbers, I remembered his phone number from visual.
Wow.
And one night I dialed it and he answered it. But the thing was, I hid my cocaine use from Rogan. He knew about my cocaine use. I just wouldn't do it around him.
Right.
But when I'd see Eddie, I wouldn't give a Frenchman's fuck whatever Eddie told Rogan. So I would go to a bar called El Compadre where you get the best coke in town.
Right.
When I first met Eddie, and that's where Eddie would take his dates on Tuesday nights and Wednesdays. So here I am seeking, like running away from
Oh,
Rogan.
so funny.
I don't want Rogan to know I'm doing blow, but here I am, and I would do a line in the bathroom, come out, go get a margarita, and who's sitting in the corner with an arm around a chick but Eddie Bravo, and I'm like, fuck, I'm all coked up, and everybody was all coked up.
You're right.
So Eddie knew it. So I kept going back to the El Compadre, and I'd bump into Eddie, and I'd bump into a lot of people, but there was one night in particular. This is like the height of my addiction. Like this is 2006. The Longest Yard came out already.
Right.
And there was no really success. Everybody else was blowing up in The Longest Yard except for me. And I was doing heroin. I was doing everything. And I'll never forget that I went down to the El Compadre. I copped a 40 package from the guitar player. And I got pills. Somebody had pills. Then, hey, you do pills, take these. And I ate the pills. And who do I bump into but Eddie? But this is like, I just watched, nothing happens on the couch. I don't care if you're a fat, ugly guy that women do not talk to you.
Eddie's like your drug Beetlejuice.
If you stay at the house, nothing's ever going to happen for you.
Right.
Like if you go out 300 nights even if you're fat and ugly, you're going to bump into a victim
Right.
one of those nights, and they're going to suck your dick. The odds are always with you. So with me, I was an ugly dude, and I didn't have money.
Coke
but
is
I
a
had
great
two things.
thing.
I had the gift of gab, and I had cocaine. Cocaine's a major closer.
Oh, for
because
sure.
the gift of gab brings you close to me. So now I got you like in a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like now I
Right.
got you. But the cocaine, I'll just twist you up, and next thing you know, it's 69 in, and I'm looking at you going, oh my God, this chick's a 10, and she's eating my balls. Like, it was just crazy. But it was always, at that time, I was scared of El Compadre. I lived on the street.
Right.
I lived in a car, and I lived in between Curson and Gardner. And I'd see all the people walk out of El Compadre. It was crazy. But I had one friend that would go to El Compadre, and she'd tell me, dog, they got good coke there. We get fucked up in there. So for years, I didn't go into El Compadre. So I started going to El Compadre, getting coke, meeting people. So boom, one night I go in there after the store, and I'm fucking lit. I already had like a little bit of that chewy coke. That
Yeah.
it wasn't good.
Yeah, what is that? Well, when it sticks like that?
Yeah. The
You're
chewy,
like, oh,
the chewy
shit.
coke was good enough, but it didn't take you over the cocaine mountain.
It's fast
You know what I'm
Eddie
saying?
Coke.
You
Fast
want
Eddie
to
Coke.
talk to people and talk
Oh,
shit
yeah.
about your career and all this shit. So
That's got paint
sometimes-
thinner or some shit
Yeah,
in it.
so I would do the chewy coke, and if the chewy coke didn't have it, I'd make the investment and have somebody drop me off at up in Padre. I was home anyway. I was sleeping in somebody's apartment in that block anyway, whether it was Ralphie May, Celine, Sean Rouse, Doug Stanhope. I would find somebody to sleep even though I was homeless. So by this time, I got a place. And I go in there one night, and I'm buying my little late night package, and who's in there but Eddie Bravo? And again, nothing happens when you stay on the couch. I'm fucking I go to the thing, and there's a hot chick by herself. And like anybody in this table knows, especially Lee, I'll talk to anybody. We were at Morton's Steakhouse one night.
On Coke, too.
No,
non-Coke?
no.
This was recently.
This had to be 2 years ago. I go, let's go. My wife was out of town. I go, Lee, let's go to Morton's Steakhouse. Some woman passed by me. I go, excuse me, lady, you're looking fucking tremendous tonight. She's like, oh my God. When she came back, she gave me a number. She had to be 80 years old. My point being that, you know, the gift of gab,
Right.
the cocaine. So I
Right.
go to El Compadre. Who do I bump into? But Eddie. At the same time, when I bump into Eddie, I'm talking to this chick. This has to be, let's pretend it was 15 years ago, maybe.
Right.
So I'm 40 years old. I'm broke.
Yeah.
I'm living on Gavin's floor. God knows where the fuck I'm living. I go to El Compadre. I get a $50 rock, which in those days was tremendous. The guy would put like an extra little chunk in there for me. And I'd crush it up and I'd do a little blast. And I'm not there 3 minutes, but this girl comes out, you know, just moved to LA. She does not know about LA. And she starts talking to me about tequila. You know, I love tequila and tequila and tequila and tequila and tequila. I don't know nothing about tequila. I know Cuervo and Silva. I don't know nothing.
Right.
She goes, have you ever eaten a worm? And in all this speech, she goes, one time I ate a worm and I sucked the guy's dick for an hour. And I'm like, really? You know, when somebody tells you that type of information,
Worms.
you know, when somebody tells you that type of information, when you just meet them, that's just, so I go, really? And she goes, as a matter of fact, whenever I drink tequila, I get a sudden urge. I love to suck dick. She didn't say it in that way. What's the common way to say fellatio?
Fellatio?
What do you know? What's fellatio's when you eat pussy?
No, fellatio's when you
suck
get your dick sucked, right?
She was,
Slob knob?
she was very white, and she's telling me all this shit, and I have no money. Like, I have like $8, and she's telling me how she drank. And I remember going up to the bartender going, listen, Joey, whatever. It was Joey. I go, Joey, can you just put like $20 in tabs and send us over 4 shots of tequila? And he goes, you got it. And I was like, salute. And there was 20 people on the patio.
Salute.
And then we're like, salute. And I'm eating pills. I think I got them from Sergio Love.
Oh.
I'm doing that guitar player coke, which is cartel cocaine. The cocaine there was brilliant. That's what Lindsay Lohan.
All that mariachi music is
Yeah,
all about
cocaine.
drug dealing.
Yeah. That's what Lindsay Lohan was getting her blow.
That's the good shit.
So I'm in there fucking getting blasted. I don't know how I'm going to get home. I don't know what happens. I'm talking to this chick, and on the coke, I said something to her about sucking my dick. And next thing you know, I black out, and we're in men are coming into the El Compadre bathroom pissing, and she's giving me a blowjob in the bathroom. And again, we walk out, and in those days, once you suck my dick, the conversation's over. There's no more cocktails. There's no more cocaine. Hold on, I got to call. Hold on, a friend of mine. Just let me go get my friend. Bam! And that's it. I wake up the next day. I take a shower. I'm hungover on the tequila. I take my aspirins, and I'm trying to think about what happened the night before. Like, it's that deep of a blackout. Remember, I have an allergy to alcohol.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
After a certain amount of alcohol, I fucking pass out. So I'll never forget that the phone rings on my page. It goes off, and it's Eddie. And I call Eddie, and he goes, "Well, hey, man, I'm just worried about you. What happened to you last night?" And I go, "What happened to you? You know, 1 minute we're talking, the next minute you're gone." He goes, "Oh, you were talking to some hot chick." And I go, "Oh, shit, that's right. That's right. I was talking to that hot chick." He goes, "What happened with that?" I go, "You know what, bro?" That's when you know you're fucking blacked out. At the light, while I was on the phone with Eddie, it came to me that the chick had sucked my dick. I go, "Eddie, do you know that chick sucked my dick last night?" He goes, "Where? You took her home?" I go, "No, I got no home. Right there at El Compadre." He goes, "Where?" I go, "In the bathroom." He goes, "Right out in the open?" I go, "No, in the stall." And then he asked me $1,000 question. He goes, "Did you close the stall?" I go, "Why would I close the stall?"
Yeah.
She
Did
was
you lock
sucking
it?
my dick.
Yeah.
If I was sucking her dick, I'd close the stall because I'm conscientious. That's how crazy. El Compadre in those days, like that was the craziest Hollywood stories I have.
No, you have a great story about Dublin. Did I already tell this?
No, but let me ask you this.
Dublin
Before we
story
go
was
any
great.
further, did we do that thing together where the people were fucking outside and we had to do stand-up comedy? Or was that Jason Tebow, Duncan?
That must have been somebody
You
else.
didn't organize that?
No, I've done shows where people are fucking.
We did the show up in the hills where they gave us $1,500 flat, and it was the people from, what was the guy that was showing women her tits? You went to a bar.
Oh, Girls Gone
Girls
Wild?
Gone Wild.
No.
So it was like these Armenian fucking Arab guys that came to the store and they picked up like 5 or 6 comics. The other day we were trying to put it together. Jason Tebow was one of the headliners. They gave you a bag of joints, they put you in a trailer, and then people were going to fuck around the pool, and you were going to go up on stage and do jokes. Eddie,
Holy shit.
disgusting. Eddie, disgusting.
Because it's never people you want to actually watch fuck,
Yeah,
right?
no. It was disgusting.
Right?
But I still remember this one husband came, yoked up on steroids, looking at Mad Dog and everybody. He's like, "My wife is here." And his wife was maybe like a 6. You know what I'm saying? She was a filthy fucking animal. Like when she took her sandals off, she had dirt on her feet.
Oh,
I'll
oops.
never forget that she got on top of the diving board and people were just fucking her and he would just stand there like, "Look how good a piece of ass my wife is." Like it was just totally disgusting. And we got there at 1 in the afternoon and we had to sit through this. Like, I'm a pig, guys. I'm a pig. When I tell you that I was like disgusted. There was a pool, people were fucking by the pool. Then they had where you change, where you put your towel on and change, like the pool thing. I went in there at one point and there was people fucking everywhere. And people were taping this and then we had to wait for it to get dark for the comedy to start.
Oh.
So we got there at 1.
Were they shooting porn? Or were they just...
What they were going to shoot was 5 comedians with sex around you, and they were going to sell it. This is way before the internet, guys. It had to be 2001, 2002. Somebody found it online. The guys lost their ass.
Oh, yeah. Girls Gone Wild?
No. These were guys that were like Girls Gone Wild. That had an idea, and their big plan
Ladies
was...
Gone Crazy?
Yeah, what their big plan was they were going to rent TV on Thanksgiving night and just push the ad all night. Order now, and you'll see comedians and girls having sex and blah, 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 blah. Bro, they invested so much money.
Wow.
Like, they told us what they invested. Part of the deal for me was like $1,500 and like a bag of joints.
Would they let you jump in?
No, you didn't want to jump in, Eddie. Trust me. There was, and then they hired like...
It's like nudists. Nudists are never anybody you want to see naked.
No.
It's almost like a warning.
No, it's a warning. They hired female models that were extras, good-looking ones, and they didn't know where they were going to. So because they thought they were going to a mountain event, they got there to see all these ugly women getting fucked by different men and gangbanged and shit. And some of them started leaving angry and crying and shit. Like that was just disgusting. And I still remember being on stage and getting heckled. And me telling the girl, go fuck yourself. You wouldn't be here. And then she got really pissed. And every time I'd walk past her, she'd give me the finger. The rest of the night, fuck you, you fucking loser. And finally, I had to call like a whore or something. Fuck you, you whore. You wouldn't be a fucking whore if you weren't here. I remember going back on stage and just going off on it. You weren't part of that?
No.
I think it was me, Duncan Trussell, who's a sweetheart and a half.
One of the best.
One of the best. They hired like 5 of the wrong fucking comics for that fucking shit.
Dude, that thing was doomed even before they decided comics.
You feel so, like I bumped into them like 3 or 4 months later at the store. They came up to like looking for like 500 back. Like they had their heads down. And then you're not going to believe what happened. We advertised. We only sold 136 units. We took a bath. We got to pay our family back now the money we borrowed from them. It was embarrassing.
It's a crazy idea, dude. I mean, sometimes people, just because they have money, I've learned this, just because you have money doesn't mean you're smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some people got cash, they just make horrible business decisions.
Well, out here especially, I've seen that what is that investment when you're not guaranteed the investment back? It's called something. There's people that just do that. It's got a high return, but if you lose the money, you lose it. Like once you give it away, so people will give away $500,000 and 500,000 and 50,000. They'll invest $500,000 and 50,000 with the hope that one of those 50,000 will give them a high yield interest and cover their losses, and they can make extra money. There's something that it's called. I'm not an economist anymore. That's back in the days.
I've done shows where people are having sex. We used to do naughty shows in swingers clubs, and we went to the world famous Green Door in Las Vegas.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we were supposed to do another casino, and they had to freak out. They're like, "No, we don't want porn stars." It was a weird time in Vegas, right? So I had this huge show put together. I had a guy from CSI wanted to do the show. He wanted to do some funny, stupid skit about like DNA on the girls stuff, because we had porn stars and it'd be like find out who was a murderer through the DNA. But so I call around, and I remember my buddy did a show at the Green Door, and I'm like, would they want to do comedy? Called the guy, boom, done. We sell like 300 tickets in like honestly a half an hour. That's how quickly the show sold out, because it was part of AVN weekend and all that shit. So we go there, and so this guy, the swingers, man, like, here's what I've learned about super rich people. They're all cucks. They all bang each other's girlfriend, wives. It's just like they just get bored and they all just fuck each other, right? So this guy ran the swing club, knew all the ballers in Vegas. And he got us the fattest suite penthouse I've ever seen in my life.
For you?
For me, Jason Tebow, and I think one of the big porn stars that, she was going to stay with us too.
What was her name? What's the girl that you're friends with that I love?
Tara Patrick.
I love her.
Dude, one of the most beautiful people you've ever seen in your life. So we go to this hotel. It's at the Paris. And we get our keys. We're like, wow, it's really high. So we go up, and it's the last floor, man. And we're like, holy shit. And we walk down. We're like, where is it? Dude, we get double doors, man. Open the double doors. It's like half the top floor of like the Paris. It was the biggest hotel room I've ever stayed in my life. And it was ours for the whole weekend for doing the show at the Green Door. We go to the Green Door. We do the show. It's a huge smash. Afterwards, and while I'm doing stand-up, people are just fucking all over the place. And I've learned from strip clubs that basically what swingers clubs are just where black guys with dreads go to bang polar bears. That's what happened. Just big.
What's a polar bear?
A big fat white chick. A polar bear. That's what you see these guys with dreads just fucking crushing these very large women.
Now, these swingers clubs, because I'm not hip to this shit.
You never what? You never done any of that?
You never done to a swingers club?
What was the famous one in New York? I was taken. That's the word. I'm sorry. I was taken one night in one of my drunk cocaine stupors. I met somebody out, and they said, let's go to that club. And I walked in with him, and I think I lasted 8 minutes because my Catholic whatever just got in the way. Like, there was just people fucking. I didn't like the concept of I walk in here with my girlfriend or my wife. That's the concept I didn't like. I don't mind if you got like Umar on the side or some 20-year-old fucking chick that you and her. But like the people next to me, it was their wives. And the two guys were like, your wife sucks a great dick. And your wife has a tight asshole. And I'm
Some
like,
dudes are into that.
it's that's the part I'm not that confident about. So I didn't like that shit. And then once I was taken to the 1040 Club, and that was a horrible experience as a child, like 16, where it was $10. It was $9.99 to get your dick sucked.
What?
But it was $10.40.
That's like Groupon prices.
Yeah, it was $10.40 plus tax. So it was $9.99.
You had to pay tax on a blowjob.
So it was $10.40. So you paid the $10.40. They gave you a ticket stub, and you walked in the back, and it was like 100 guys having. And then what they did was they set up a bar. They had different bars in there, so you just drink in there, like drinking, like me and Eddie, and then like a red light would go off, and the door would open up, and they'd push a bunch of girls, like young hookers from other countries, and you had to fucking grab them. And then to go back into the area, you had to give the ticket to the guy, and they would take you into the back, and it was basically cubicles, just cubicles with a sink, like a prison bathroom. And you opened the curtain, and you went in there, and she pulled out a bucket, and she put hot water in the bucket, and she had a sponge. Then she took your dick out, and she washed your dick, and she washed your balls.
What city was this in?
This is the only city the city that don't sleep, New York City.
Okay.
This is This was 1981. I went there for a birthday party. It was Pedro. I forget. He's dead now. God rest his soul. I knew him and his brother, and they had the family had a candy company. So at night they had trucks that delivered like Hershey bars and Milky Ways. That's what the family did. Obregons. Then his name was Pedro Obregon, and he loved hookah houses. So we were drinking one night, and they said, let's go into the city, and I got in the car with them. And then, like, we're going to the 1040 Club, and I was Catholic. My mother had just died.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this shit. Like, this place is fun. Let's go in there. And that was it, $10.40.
How's a $10 blowjob?
Let me tell you something. It was one of the worst experiences of my life because you grabbed it. Like, the chick I grabbed, I didn't even know. Like, I was there for a half hour just drinking because it was like dollar drinks. But the room would smell like cologne. Like, you know all those guys that they tell you how much they get laid? It was those guys.
Oh, yeah.
It was all those type of guys. Like, bro, when I go out women, I got to beat them off me. You're lying. Mm-hmm. They were all in there with their cologne on, talking like they were businessmen. And you got to grab these chicks. It looks like they've been crying all night.
Of course. The guy who give a $10 blowjob. Who wants that?
It's a fucking horror show. And then they upgrade you in the back. So while they're washing your balls and stuff, no condom, they suck your dick. It was 1970, 1979, 1980, 81. No condoms. They blow you, and then they'd upgrade you. So for an extra $10, it was an around the world. I'll never forget her telling me an around the world. And I'm like, what's an around the world? She's like, that's when I suck your dick, and I lick your balls, and you fuck me. And I was like, all right, let's do the around the world. And then she took her stockings off and her shirt, and it was just, I was horrified. I was 17, I really
They were just fucking beaten up.
They had just been beaten up. Like, she turned around and her pussy lips were hanging.
Oh, that's...
Like, I wanted love. Like, I was looking to be loved, Eddie. Is there nothing more wrong than
You
that?
were looking for a pretty woman for $10.
Yeah, like for $10. But then she put she put the condom on me. She got on top of me first. And it was like a metal bed, like a detention bed. And you could hear 20 people fucking at once. Like you could just, it was all around you. It was just wide open. And I'll never forget her rubbing against me and me closing my eyes going, how many diseases am I going to get? And in the middle of all that, she stopped. And she goes, for an extra $5, you could eat my pussy. And I just fucking, what's when they have you in a mount? I hip bumped her.
Yeah.
And she flew off, bro, and I put my
Bucked
clothes
her.
on. And I walked out of there. I walked to 42nd Street, took the bus home. That was like one of the lowest levels of my life.
Oh, for sure.
I got a low level story like
Hit
that
me.
too.
Really?
This is the only time I ever had sex with a girl and didn't want to finish, just pulled up my pants and got the fuck out. Let me tell you the story. I was single between 2000 and 2010. I went 10 years. I strategically stayed away from relationships. I started, doing seminars, teaching jiu-jitsu. And before I had
2000 or 2010.
2010, I was single as fuck.
You just had a bunch of different women.
I was just having fun, man. Dating, just getting crazy. And that's when 10th Planet was born. And before I had any affiliates, there was this one school in Tennessee. One school that would have me out, like every other month. They would have me out. And I didn't have any affiliates. I just had one school. I didn't even have a school. I was, the beginning of 10th Planet was me teaching out of some dirty-ass boxing gym in West Hollywood, across the street from that old Trader Joe's.
Right.
Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad was...
I tapped Keenan Ivory Wayne's there.
Exactly. He went there. He was old school. I knew Sam before
I got
10th Planet.
Scott into... That's how I got Scott into
I knew
jiu-jitsu.
both you guys before 10th Planet was even a thought.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. 10th Planet. I knew you guys 2001, 2002, and 2003 was the beginning of 10th Planet. But anyways, right there, 2003, 2004, I'm going to this city, and I'd never been to a city like that before in my life. I just started traveling, and it's one of those cities where you fly into Atlanta, and then Atlanta, you take a little prop plane to this one small little town in Tennessee. This guy was flying me out.
What's the city called?
Bristol, Tennessee.
Bristol.
Tri-Cities. So I went there a lot, and when I'd go there, I'd stay the whole weekend. I was tripped out that anybody would even fly me out for a seminar.
Right.
And the guy that would fly me out, his name was D. Smith, and he was like the coolest fucking guy ever. He just had me out every other week, and he was really into rubber guard and all that, the twister and all that shit. So. And when I'd go out, there was one club in this small little town, one club on a Saturday night called State Line. And it had the college kids, the people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s and their 60s. Everybody was in this goddamn club, that one motherfucking club. And I was out there looking, for female companionship. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is my last night. I leave tomorrow. And we went out to this club, that club State Line. I mean, you couldn't even call it a club. It was like a bar. But there wasn't really any success going on there. And I forget his name, but this one guy said, hey, man, we can go to Johnson City. And there's a bigger club. So Johnson City was like a step up from this small little town that had like 15,000 people population. Small little town in the boonies of Tennessee. So I thought, fuck it, I don't even got nothing else to do. He goes, dude, I'll drive you. We'll go to Johnson City. There's this badass club. I'm like, let's go. So we drove about an hour to Johnson City, and we get in.
Damn.
It's a horrible club. I mean, it is a step above the bar we were just at, but it was horrible. And he says, I know this girl up on stage, and there's this girl. She looked like she was drunk as fuck. She looked like Huckleberry Finn's great niece. She just fucked up teeth and she was skinny, and she had her pants unzipped, and she was dancing on this stage. It wasn't a strip club, but she thought it was. And everybody's like dancing dirty on her, and he goes, you can fuck her if you want. I'm like, oh, how do you know? He goes, dude, I could fuck her anytime I want. I'm like, holy, and this dude didn't have any teeth either. No kidding. Nice guy, but I was like, fuck. Oh, shit. And I was like, no, thank you. Let's get the fuck out of here.
It's bad when
the story's not over yet. I was like, I thought about it. I was on the fence, man. I was a little drunk. And I'm like, we're in Tennessee. You know what I mean? You kind of drop your standards when you're like, fuck. No, I just looked at her up on stage, and dudes were all like all over her, dancing and dirty. And she literally had her pants zipped down, trying to be sexy, buttoned open, and dancing on the stage. And I said, fuck it. Let's just get the fuck out of here. And he goes, you sure, man? You sure? You can get that one. I'm like, I'm sure. Let's get the fuck out of here, right? So we go to the parking lot. We get in the car, and we're trying to get out of this parking lot. And here she comes. As we're driving out, she's just like stumbling.
How old is she?
She's got to be like, I don't know, early 20s.
Wow.
And she's stumbling out of the club. Perfect timing. He goes, last chance. You sure? We take her to my house right now. I'm like, fuck. I said, all right, fuck it. Let's just do it. So he grabbed her, throws her in the car. We go back to his house, like his mom's house. And we go in the basement. He's got a big screen in the basement, and it's just us three watching TV just for like a second. I'm like, you know what? And he gets up and he walks away and gives me a little wink and goes, go for it. I'm like, and she's just like sitting there, just not even talking. And I thought, okay. So we started making out a little bit, and it's fucking gross, dude. I pulled down her pants and put on a condom. I'm like, there's no way I'm fucking this chick without a condom. Put on a condom. I put it in, and she's just looking like she's dead.
Yeah.
She's got this dead look on her
Yeah.
face. And I took a couple pumps, and I just looked at her, and I thought, fuck this shit. It's so not worth it. I was afraid to come. I pulled out, fucking snapped that rubber off, threw it up against the fucking floor, and I went upstairs and told the guy, let's get the fuck out of here. He goes, what happened? Did you fuck her? I'm like, not really, dude. Let's just get the fuck out of here. So he drove me back, and that was the only time. That was the only time I ever stopped in the middle of sex and just I was afraid to have an orgasm. I just wanted to get the fuck
Can you
out
imagine?
of
She
that.
had your kid and shit.
Oh,
Tony
my
Bennett,
God.
let me go take a piss real quick. We're back, you bad motherfuckers. Uncle Joey here. No, do your thing. Go ahead. Go do your thing. Yeah. We're back here. Just a little listen. The thing I love about podcasting is every fucking episode is something different. I couldn't stick to the same fucking episode every episode. So we try to switch it up from time to time. We got great guests this week. Don't worry about nothing. We're always here changing fucking lives. You understand me? Don't forget, this Friday and Saturday, I'm in Philly and DC. They're sold out. But if you can finagle your way in there, get in there. And then there's tickets still available for Foxwoods on the 29th or the 28th of
29th.
29th of September. There's still tickets. Wilbur Theater sold out. West Palm, I'll be down there and shit. So get your shit together, motherfuckers. This is my only Florida appearance. So Tampa, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, get your roller skates and get that cocaine ready. You're going up to 95 on fucking roller skates with a cape on. That's so crazy how your whole dream started down there on that in that little boxing gym, like your vision. You know what I'm saying?
I had no idea I would be able to get other people to want to be part of the 10th Planet Association. I had no clue. I was just happy that I had a group of 30, 40 guys that were
believed in you.
Yeah. To have more affiliates, it wasn't even a thought. I remember George Zergel back when he was fighting the UFC, and then you hear he had 12 schools. I thought, what the fuck? Is he a multimillionaire or what? He had 12 fucking schools? I couldn't believe it. I never thought I'd even have 2. And then, a couple people asked, how do we get affiliated with you? And I thought, why would you want to get affiliated with me? I'm just some fucking Mexican who you got all these legendary Brazilians all around. Why would you want to learn jiu-jitsu from a Mexican?
I thought you went to take a look for Owen Benjamin. I thought you wanted the Owen Benjamin fucking twist and shit.
No, dude, I just took a dump.
How old were you when you got into conspiracy theories? And what was
My
the
whole
first,
life, I've always
What
been.
was the first conspiracy that are you on the mark?
I am on the mark.
What was the first conspiracy that you thought about? How old were you?
I remember when the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan got busted in the car together. And I was like, hey, dude, these motherfuckers aren't supposed to like each other. And boom, I'm like, oh, it's all bullshit. And that kind of, my dad's always raised me to be a paranoid person. He said, don't believe anything you see and don't believe anything you hear and half what you see.
Your dad's an immigrant?
My dad, he's like second generation.
Okay, so he was raised here.
Yeah, but he's an old Italian, and he's like, he just like, he'd be like, if someone disrespects you, you gotta scorch your earth with them. Just wonderful advice they gave me all the time, and it was just like, so I always questioned everything, always, never
How about
believed
you?
it.
When was the first time you got into conspiracies, Eddie Bravo?
When I found out everybody wasn't Catholic.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah, I thought everybody was Catholic. I grew up in a neighborhood where everybody was Catholic. We had a neighborhood church, Our Lady of Pilar, right there on 6th Street in Santa Ana. When you watch TV, all the Catholic holidays coincided with what you saw on different strokes. You know, they would have Christmas specials and Easter specials and Halloween specials. I thought everybody was Catholic, but then once, I think I was 11, once I found out that there was a whole shitload of Jews and Muslims and Hindus, I thought, wait a minute, who's right here? How come they're saying that if you don't believe their shit, you're going to hell, and they're saying if you don't believe their shit, you're going to hell, but we're saying that too? And then at that point, I thought, oh, okay, everybody's full of shit. So I just became an atheist right there. I didn't believe in anything. I thought, these motherfuckers are all... So anything that had anything to do with religion from the time I was 11, 12, 13, I was just like, you guys are just full of shit. Because how could, you know, there's more... I think there's, you know, isn't there more Muslims than Christians?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't I don't know, something like that, right? Or even if it's like even, that's still a lot of people that don't believe in Christ. So that was really when I started doubting what the mainstream was giving me. And then in 1985, when I was 15, on 2020, they did a special report on heavy metal music, and it was based on the PMRC. And they were talking about, you know, if your kids are listening to Twisted Sister or Dio, they're probably Satanists. And I was balls deep into Slayer, and I thought, what are you talking about, Twisted Sister? I'm 15. I'm like, these motherfuckers supposed to know everything? You're holding up the wrong albums. Judas Priest saying satanic. You need to hold up Creator and Destruction and Sodom. Like, I was into the like bands that were straight up talking about Satanism, because like Dio, you know, or like you listen to like Motley Crue, maybe there's some backward masking shit on Led Zeppelin or something like that. But Slayer was writing straight out. There was no subliminal messages. There wasn't any backward messages. They were telling you that we're gonna, you know, every song was about killing babies and demons rising from hell and sacrificing priests and fucking corpses and sending their souls to hell, you know. And all of a sudden I'm watching 2020 and they're talking about fucking Motley Crue and Judas Priest being satanic. The kids are like, those motherfuckers aren't satanic.
Well, in 85,
you know what I mean? So
these kids were listening to music backwards. Remember that they got taken to court, Judas Priest, because the kid killed himself.
Yeah, as a kid who was balls deep into music like that,
me too.
I was like, dude, you guys are going after the wrong bands.
Yeah, I felt
you're not
the same
going.
way.
Why aren't you going after King Diamond? His album covers are straight satanic. He's telling you he's satanic, but they were ignoring all the bands that were balls deep into Satan. And then they were going after bands that had nothing to do with Satan.
So what do you
Judas
think
Priest has nothing to do with Satan.
What do you think? Then why were they?
So I thought, okay, so I can't trust none of this shit. These guys have it all wrong, and that just got the ball rolling. And then I was in speed metal bands in my teens playing drums, and you know, I was in a band called Resistance, and we were conspiracy theorists, but we didn't know shit. There was no internet. All I knew is I couldn't trust anybody, and we were writing songs about, you know, anti-government songs and nuclear war songs and the typical shit that hardcore metal bands were writing about. It was all anti-establishment, but we didn't know what the fuck we were talking about. But we just knew we couldn't trust anybody. We just knew that.
I gotta ask you both the question real quick.
Yeah.
I always, you know, looking back at it, even while I was living it, I thought, even when my mind was in a dark place and I would listen to Black Sabbath, I knew that it was, for some reason, I knew it was a marketing. Something about it.
Yeah, there is
because I would hear them singing, but Ozzy would wear a cross. So right off
Black
the bat,
Sabbath, they were a band that you can go after them. If 2020 went after Black Sabbath, they had, you know, upside down crosses, and they were
Master Reality,
a satanic light. They were satanic light, but they were nothing compared to the German thrash metal scene, Sodom and Destruction and Creator and Slayer and all that shit. Bathory, King Diamond. Every song was about Satan and worshiping Satan, you know? So to go after Dio and Judas Priest and Motley Crue and that shit, that made me really lose any kind of fucking faith.
Do you think they went after those bands because they had investments in those bands? Is that why they went after them?
I don't know what the real motives were. Now looking back, I'm like, maybe they were pushing it. You know what I mean? Maybe they were by pretending that they were against it, they were really pushing it and were trying to corrupt the youth. You know
I
what
mean,
I mean?
if you take a look at like something like the Grateful Dead, the CIA's fingerprints are all over them, man.
Yeah.
They were the house band.
Yeah.
For the guys that made all the acid for the CIA. And we're basically where the Grateful Dead went and played, that's where acid would spread.
Yeah, and they would let Slayer get away with anything they wanted.
Right.
Slayer had a song called, it's one of their biggest songs ever, called Angel of Death. And it's all about killing Jews in ovens. You know, I mean, the opening line is Auschwitz, the meaning of pain, the way that I want you to die. Slow death, immense decay, something that cleanses of your life or whatever. But no one ever touched Slayer. They never touched them. No one ever bothered them. And a song after that was a fucking song about frying Jews
so
in ovens,
interesting.
and no one said shit. Angel of Death. No one said anything. They just let it go.
You know, it's always like
I wondered
that-
why.
I'll
It's like
never
they wanted it to get through.
It was 87. I was on the run from the cops were looking for me in Aspen. And I went to Boulder and I worked out a job in a car wash like Rambo would if the cops were looking for him. And all the kids I worked with all had long hair. And at this time I was into cocaine, guys.
Right.
I wasn't into bands anymore. I didn't read Cream or Rolling Stone. But they were talking about Slayer. This is the shit, you know. And I'm deep into Sabbath still. And I remember listening to it going, no, this is not going to work in my fucking world at all. This spooky shit. And I just didn't even know, but it was satanic until you just said no.
And it's super fast and
it's
it's super
fast.
fast.
Yeah, super fast,
It's like,
thrash metal and all
it's
that.
like
Yeah,
punk.
I just missed
like
it
punk.
all. It was like
Yeah.
a chunk of my life. It was
Right.
like a life blackout.
I dove in fucking head first. My first introduction to speed metal was a band from Canada called Exciter. And at that point, I was 13, 14, and I was going after bands, the most obscure bands. I wanted to discover bands.
Right.
And I wanted to get an album that no one else had, that was amazing, that had an amazing cover. It had to have a fucking satanic sick ass cover. So I'm out looking to discover bands, and I read in Circus Magazine a little tiny review on Exciter, the album Heavy Metal Maniac, and it was a great review. And they said super ultra heavy, and I thought, wow, the album cover blew me away. The review enticed me, so I went out and bought the record. I didn't find Heavy Metal Maniac, but they had another album called Violence and Force. And the album cover was awesome. So I bought that. I drove to Music Plus on my bike, bought the album, got home, listened to it, and I fucking hated it. It was speed metal. I never heard speed metal before. It was super fast. It was like punk. It was weird. It was horrible. I thought, fuck, I'm going to take this album back first thing in the morning. I'm going to take it back. Because if I didn't like an album, I'd take it back, get my money back.
Right.
I was too poor. So that was $6.99. So the next morning I'm going to take this fucking garbage back. But the next day I thought, okay, let me give it one more chance. So I listened to it again. And for some reason it just clicked and I just fell in love with it. And then from that point on, I got into Slayer and just, Metallica. And then it got deeper and deeper into the German thrash metal scene. That only lasted really. Then I started making music like that. I started playing drums in speed metal bands like that and writing satanic lyrics and nuclear war lyrics and all that shit. I did that. But by the time I was 18 and 19, I got burnt out on it. And then I started slowly getting into hip hop and more Nine Inch Nails vibe. And then I got sick of speed metal and just left the whole thing and just started moved to Hollywood, left the speed metal, and formed a band called Blackened Kill Symphony that was dark, heavy, with a lot of synth, like Nine Inch Nails and The Cure and Depeche Mode, but had hip hop and feel. And I had a rapper. My best friend, we moved to Hollywood together. His name is James Watson. He was the rapper. He was the guitar player in my speed metal band. Black guy who played guitar in Resistance, named James Watson. He was my best friend. We moved to Hollywood and said, fuck speed metal. I said, fuck drums. So I killed the drums, started playing guitar, and we formed Black and Kill Symphony right when we got to Hollywood, and he started playing. No, he became the rapper, and then he would play guitar every now and then. But
Metal was a weird shit, dude. And when Slayer came out, I never got into it, but I was always into like Metallica. That whole thing, I love.
That's close.
Metallica.
Slayer's harder. It's harder and faster. Harder and faster.
Yeah.
Way faster.
Yeah,
way faster.
AC/DC, I love that.
Like
shit.
Metallica would
I grew up on Motown though. That was my shit.
Let me ask you a question. Because today, Roberto Clemente would have been 83 years old.
Wow.
One of the greatest athletes of all time. Just did more for anybody. What the fuck was the Bermuda Triangle? I don't want to hear about fucking Slayer guys and fucking Metallica. I want to know conspiracy theories. What the fuck was the fucking Bermuda
I never really
Triangle?
got into the Bermuda.
It could be a vortex, dude. I think they've solved it, but yeah, it's just like it's a vortex probably. It's just got weird energy and shit just happens when you go into it. But it's also like
What kind of fucking conspiracy theories are you that you didn't get into fucking the Bermuda Triangle? Even me. I'm not a conspiracy guy. And I even had to do some searching.
well, tell me about it. I mean, like, I just feel like
It was just this bad luck place.
yeah,
They
that's
had
what I
like
was about to say. Just a bunch
They
of
had
bad
this
luck.
fucking diamond there, and that's where Roberto Clemente's plane went down. They recovered some parts of the plane, but they never recovered the body. There were just so many things that would go on when I was growing up in the, in the Bermuda Triangle.
That
dazed
was a
me.
big thing.
And
It's almost like John Mulaney's bit about how, when he was a kid, he thought quicksand would be a much bigger problem in his life, Now, like, you never see quicksand.
Where was
but
quicksand? Where do
Yeah.
you find quicksand?
in the jungle,
When I was
right?
a kid, it was everywhere.
Yeah,
On
you're like,
TV.
fuck, quicksand's coming,
Everybody was
dude.
getting caught in quicksand in Harlem.
Right?
You see like 3 black guys. Like, we can't go because they got caught in quicksand and
Yeah.
shit. I just never understood a lot of
Quicksand, the Bermuda Triangle, you always thought, man, we can't fly through that. We'll
Like
never
the
get
second
out.
conspiracy theorist I got into, and I gave up after a while, was Kennedy.
Was what?
Kennedy.
Yeah. Why'd you give up on it?
Because it doesn't take a genius to know our government had something to do with it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So once
That's like the
Our
white
government
belt.
already decided that it was a conspiracy, and no one talks about it. So it's not even it shouldn't even be a debate anymore. In 1977, the House Committee on Assassinations, they reviewed after 14 years or whatever, they reopened up the investigation on his murder, and they decided, the government decided, yes, in 1977, yes, there was a conspiracy. It was more than just one person. There were other people involved. And then that's it. Then they just put a halt to it. They said, yes, there was other people involved. Because really it was, the debate was Lee Harvey Oswald a lone nut assassin, or were there more people involved? That's all it was. It was just, was there a bunch of people, or was it one person? Our own government already came to the conclusion.
Right.
So it shouldn't even be a debate. The fact that it's a debate is crazy, because it shouldn't be a debate.
There are people that
Yeah.
think one bullet did
Yeah,
it. It's
but
unbelievable.
our own government already decided that it was more people.
And then Trump declassified all this crazy shit that basically put George Bush there in Dallas that day, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then you look at George Bush, like, he's such a gangster motherfucker, dude. His family is very close with the Hinckleys, right? Because they're all old oil money out of Texas. So the Hinckleys and the Bushes are friends. Who takes a shot at Reagan? Boom, Hinckley. Who becomes president?
Yeah, what would have happened if Reagan would have died?
George Bush
Sr.
would-
becomes president.
That
'Cause
guy's
he was the
ruthless.
former head of the CIA who became vice president, and his dad, Prescott Bush, helped form the CIA. His dad is super powerful. Prescott Bush, he was involved in funding the Nazis through Union Bank. Prescott Bush, George Sr.'s dad. And
sure.
his dad, Samuel Bush, was the right-hand man of Frank Rockefeller. And the Bushes and the Rockefellers they're balls deep. That's like super CFR, just Illuminati type shit. They're running shit. The Bushes, are you kidding?
Oh, yeah.
Those are the
Dude, the Bushes
some of the baddest
basically-
gangsters of human history.
The Bushes and somewhat the Clintons basically wiped out the Kennedy family dynasty. Remember, they were like the top political family, like, in the country.
Yeah.
Not even close anymore. Wiped them out. Now it's Bushes and the Clintons.
So while George Sr. was the vice president under Reagan, we went through the Iran-Contra scandal, right? And that was about running drugs and guns to support the Sandinistas and like, you know, all that shit in
Nicaragua,
yeah, in Central America, all that shit. And what was going on was that the CIA was bringing in coke through Mena, Arkansas. They were dropping it off. That was the drop-off point. Mena, Arkansas. Who, in the 80s, Bill Clinton is the governor of Arkansas who had to allow this shit. So while Bill Clinton was the governor of Arkansas, that's when all the coke was coming in through Arkansas, and Bill was like, he was allowing it. And then he becomes the president after George Sr., right? So George Sr. is basically Bill Clinton's boss during the whole Iran-Contra thing. And then coincidentally, Bill Clinton becomes the next president.
Yeah.
They hooked him up because he hooked them up.
Yeah.
So when you see George Sr. and Bill Clinton on stage debating, like in their presidential debates, like talking about sending jobs overseas and raising taxes or cutting taxes and all that bullshit, they're really partners
working
in crime.
together, dude, for sure.
They're like, you got this. They tagged them off.
There's no D's in ours.
It's crazy
here's the
gangster
craziest
shit going on.
I
It's like
will never
Gotham.
forget the day I first spoke to you about Mena, Arkansas. We had that talk. Well, here's the thing that pisses me off about this. Now, if you watch Narcos, if you watch Netflix, they have 6 or 7 shows describing to you the explosion of cocaine of the mid-70s to the mid-80s. And you look at something like that. You know, Lee doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Sam Tripoli doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Neither does Eddie, in a way, because I saw what you guys are reading. I saw cocaine was very recreational. It wasn't around. It was acid and reefer. And all of a sudden, it just, by 81, it just took off. Now, at this time, if you read the chronicles and shit, the government finds out about cocaine.
Right.
But what the government really found out was about the money that they were making with cocaine. And at the end of the day, we don't care if you're doing coke and selling it, but what, nothing comes over here for the mouse. Nothing comes here for the mouse. I remember being a cocaine addict. In 81, 82, 83, you could buy cocaine for 100 a gram to 80 to 250 an 8-ball. In 85, that all changed. Once the government got involved and the money. Now, I'm living through this.
Yeah.
I'm living through this, and I'm hearing constant, all of a sudden, from 76 to 82, if you did a line of cocaine, guys, it was like tasting cake for the first time.
The good shit, right?
When you went, and it would go down, and the back of your throat would get numb, and it tasted kind of pinky, and your nose would get kind of numb, and you didn't get high. You didn't get that. You got high that your eyes kind of got red, and they would play tricks on you. And after like 2 or 3 or 4 lines, that's when you would get this elevation of high. Well, that high changed over the years. You know, they told you that they said that how they really got to the cartel was the problem that we had created was that to make cocaine, the final wash, to make it taste good is ether. Ether
really?
alcohol is what makes cocaine taste. That's why if I smell anything with ether, it illuminates me. It's cocaine. It's cocaine.
Yeah.
Ether alcohol is cocaine. So there was a time where the roughest thing wasn't getting cocaine out of Colombia. It was getting ether into Colombia to wash. That's what it's called, to wash the final cocaine.
Right.
Once they couldn't get the ether in, they started using fucking gasoline and turpentine, and you could taste it in the coke.
Oh, yeah.
That coke became crack. People started saying, we can't sell that. Like, I remember snorting coke that smelled like cat piss.
Oh, my God.
And that you would have headaches for 3 days. The coke was astonishing. It was like 99% pure. You would put a dot on your tongue and your head would be fucking numb. Like, oh, you couldn't even talk.
Making business ideas.
But it would burn the bottom of your nose. And that became crack. People started taking that coke and going, fuck it. We're not going to sell it. Just burn it down into the slowest thing. You know how they made crack in those days? It was horrible. Like I knew these guys in the early 80s that were already making, because it was freebase at first.
Right.
And freebase was for the rich and famous. To freebase cocaine, oh my God. To snort cocaine was one thing. But to freebase it, that was Belushi, that was Robin Williams.
You have to have fuck you money.
That's fuck you money, because, bro, a little rock just shrinks on you. You got to have a guy there cooking it with a silk fucking scarf or socks that are made from silk. So for every gram you use, you only get 8/10 back. Me and you could smoke 8/10 in 2 minutes. So I saw this evolution. And even though I was part of it, and even though I thought it was cool, and even though I grew up with it, now looking back, it ruined the country.
Oh, for sure, dude.
It destroyed a country.
For sure.
Like our own government destroyed a country. I mean, and this doesn't just go to cocaine. You know, if you walked around New York City in 1967 and 68 and 69 and 70, I will tell you that if you saw 10 people, 2 of them would be looking at you, Eddie, and all of a sudden they'd go,
heroin?
and they nod, and they were on straight heroin. And then what do you go to find out? That years later, Vietnam was basically about heroin.
Yeah.
They were just bringing heroin back by the fucking millions.
Yep.
And this whole country, that's what I don't understand. Like, when I see those shows now, somebody has to pay for what they did to this country. Yeah, Pablo Escobar was a scumbag, and the Medellin cartel was scumbags, and
They were small time. They were small time compared to
They
the
were
CIA.
assets, dude.
But who helped them grow?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why those pictures, like that whole thing, Tom Cruise made a movie about American Made, and he got popped. It's a horrible movie. But when you think about what was going on, it was just horrible. You know, then they started, the Sandinistas, whatever, were just bringing up coke. They cut them in. They weren't even having a war.
Yeah.
They just cut them in to help bring cocaine up. Our own government flooded. And then you hear the DEA going, well, 320 metric tons of cocaine were smuggled into our country. Where's the war on drugs? 300 metric tons. That's 2,000 pounds of fucking ton of cocaine. I can't snort that shit in 1 year myself.
We tried.
Somebody had to be fucking snorting it. But you look back at that conspiracy right there, that's not a conspiracy. That was something to ruin our country. And I'll never forget having a teacher. His name was Fred Terranova. And I remember he had like a pseudo-history class. And I still remember bumping into him on the street one day and him telling me that the Cubans were running cocaine. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, they got it so sophisticated that the Colombians are taking the coke to Cuba. Remember when Bush sent down the troops in '85 to Colombia and they were going through the jungles and they couldn't find any labs?
Yeah.
They were long gone. They were processing coke in Cuba. They were taking the coca leaves, shipping them to Cuba, bringing in the fucking ether from the Russians, which is even better than the American ether. They use that shit for steroids and D-ball and shit like that. And they were shipping the cocaine out of Cuba. And Fidel Castro would get 800,000 per shipload. And they were sending 2 to 3 ships a day filled with cocaine. Nobody ever mentioned Fidel's name in any of those paperwork. But the story I'm getting to here is that, because it killed me, it destroyed my life.
Right.
You know how many people I see from my age now on Facebook that have no teeth, that are fucked up? That was all cocaine from the 80s, bro.
Right.
And to think that our own government brought that in shocks me, even as street smart that I think I am. Like I was always naive, but not naive.
Wouldn't it be smart for them to blow up Colombian drug lords and Mexican drug lords
And just do the work themselves.
Yeah, like blow them up on like movies, like Scarface, for instance. Wouldn't it be smart for them to blow up something like Scarface and movies like Scarface, so that the people think that it's them that are bringing in all the coke and not really it's us that's bringing it in. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Same thing with the Italian gangster movies. The conspiracy theory is that those the people at the top, whatever you want to call them, they like pushing the Italian mobster movies because everyone thinks it's the Italians that are doing it when really they were low level. There was a our own people were really the ones at the
bankers
in charge of exactly the bankers and all that.
The bankers.
Yeah, but you blow up the Italians so everyone thinks the Italians have all this power
Yep.
and the Colombians have all this power and they're
Yep.
doing it when really it's us that are bringing it in. The American government is there's a war on drugs, but we're bringing in the
Look at
drugs.
heroin right now with Afghanistan. Production's up 70%, and now addiction's up 70%. Or it could be even higher than that.
I mean, let's not even talk about the opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
Who do you think's in charge of putting these pills in the street?
For sure. And then you hear the guy that basically flooded the market with those pills has now basically copyrighted the cure for that. It's the most gangster shit ever, dude. He basically caused a problem, an epidemic of opiates, and now he's got the cure for it too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just gangster shit.
So really, what we're talking about, either it's true or it's bullshit. It's not true. It really is just the Colombians and
that's not true.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Right.
Of course. But there's people that don't believe any of that.
Right,
So
right.
either our own government is actually not managing and controlling the drug flow between, internationally. Either they're not, or they are, there's people that actually believe that our own government would never do anything like that.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's the conspiracy.
Like I grew up in Hudson County, New Jersey, where it's very politically corrupt. And it didn't take me too long to realize that was politics on the micro level.
Oh, for sure.
What was at the macro level? I went to the doctor 3 weeks ago and he goes, oh, by the way, we're switching up that blood pressure medication on you. We're switching it up. So when I got home, I gave my wife the note and we looked at it and the one we were on, all of a sudden something's not right with it. And I'm thinking to myself, what happened? They stopped paying. They stopped paying. That's it. They don't come in no more on Fridays and give you an envelope.
Exactly.
So now start pushing this blood pressure medication, which you don't really know what the fuck they're giving. Do you guys know I have an uncle? I called him up. Now we have 2 conversations in 1 week. He's had cancer for 10 years and he's still alive because he just changed his diet and refused to go to chemo. He's 80 years old.
Wow.
And he walks 4 to 5 miles every day, Monday through Friday in Griffin Park, because he refused to get the chemo or the drugs the government gave you. Say he went to Mexico twice in the 10 years and got 2 blood treatments or something like that, and he's still alive. It's crazy the things that our own government does to us. It's crazy that there's people that still, and I love the United States of America. I'm an immigrant.
Of course.
I love being here. I love everything about it. But that kind of shit always destroys.
Cronyism.
And it's so weird how it's like anything else in life. It's like being Catholic and going, all right, I'm going to go to church today, even though they're a bunch of fucking pedophiles.
Right.
Yeah.
We look at what we want to look at, and we don't look at what we want to look at. It's like when, in comedy, it's like when somebody comes up to you and says, this guy's a joke thief, but he's your best friend.
Right.
What do you do? Do you stop being his best friend, or do you not discuss the joke thieving that he's doing? You're always put on that fucking spot. So.
Yeah. It's dude, the cronyism just keeps going. It's crazy.
What does
dude.
cronyism mean?
Cronyism is just basically where these guys just operate. They make money off of corruption. And that's what we, at the highest levels, on both sides, man. Like, people think it's R's and D's. They're falling for the tricks. It's not. These guys all work together, dude. Dude, if you looked into what happened in Haiti, man, how much money was fleeced from that country after the earthquake? Heartbreaking, man. Haiti is a shithole because more than $1 billion of aid was just taken out mysteriously by all these people that you supposedly love. It's unbelievable because they don't look at you like a person. They don't look at us like a people. We're numbers. We're resources.
Listen, when all those things happen, I really try to be an American and help, but I pick my source of who I'm giving that money to.
Don't give to, dude.
I don't believe in it anymore. I don't want to give money to an organization where 3 of the top guys have BMW convertibles.
Oh yeah, man.
Do you know what I'm saying?
One
like
of them
it's a
is like
non-profit organization, but the guy's got a convertible.
Guy's making like
BMW.
1.5.
Most of them are scams. Those NGOs, non-governmental organizations that it sounds like they're
humanitarian.
Yeah.
But when you figure out the percentage that they have to give to be considered humanitarian, you laugh in their faces. Like I used to sell, as a comic, you have fundraising jobs.
Right.
So I used to fundraise for the cops in Seattle. I thought I was working for the police department. I was working for 2 fucking ex-cons that gave you a sticker if you donated to the Police Benevolent League. Yeah, when you get a call, hi, this is Sam Tripoli. I'm calling on behalf of Glendale County Police. Sorry, I'm saying Glendale just because.
Dude, yeah. I don't care, man.
I'm calling from Glendale Police Department because we're doing a fundraiser. You actually think it's the cops. It's 3 guys on a hill in Barham in a greasy place with no air conditioning, and they get 30% of the take. So you listen, we're going to put our ad together, which comes out in June. If you advertise and put an ad in there, what happens is, let's pretend you get broken into, you put a sticker on your glass, and the cops will know that you donate. The cops don't give a fuck
that's
about
all
that
I do
sticker.
those cop events for, is that card so I can get out of trouble?
Yeah. No, well, the card is one thing. The card is one thing. I live on those cards.
Yeah, dude.
I got a DA one.
Yeah.
I got a DA one.
Get your dog out of my shit.
Yeah, get your
this
dog
is my
out of
friend.
shit. I got the real ones. I got a gold one too from Hoboken. Oh, I live for these things. The fucking get out of jail free card. What's it say there?
DEA.
DEA. We ain't fucking around, dog. But that's not the thing.
Dude, look at the NFL, man. That whole like Pink Week, cancer awareness, the amount of money that any organization gets for the find research to cure cancer from the NFL is like 10%. 10%. It's some insane number, allegedly. Some insane number. Like Michael Jordan was notorious for it back in the day, through charity events, and like 20% went to the actual, to the cause.
There's this guy in Laos or Thailand who had a foundation for kids that were in child sex trafficking, and his story was, he's the head of this foundation. I forget what the name of the foundation is, but his story is that he saves all these children from sex trafficking rings in Thailand, and he built a school to help them rehab and educate themselves. And people just started sending him money. He's like, fuck, like who wouldn't want to donate to that? This guy is breaking into these camps where they're keeping these children, as slaves, and he's breaking them out, taking them through rivers. That's what the story is on the website. Like, he's taking all these children and he has profiles of each of the children, and they have their stories of, how their mom sold them to sex trafficking and all this shit. All the kids have different profiles. So the website is touching, to say the least. And people are just donating all sorts of cash. And he built this big compound. And it's a real compound with a school. And they really are educating these kids. And the kids are happy as fuck.
Right.
Happy as fuck. Because then they'd interview them and they go, man, they're super appreciative. They can't believe that they're getting an education for free. They can't believe it. But then when you look into it, these kids weren't from child sex trafficking. They were just poor kids from, in the jungle, in villages. And he would offer them education, and the parents would go, yes, and take my kids, educate them. But the kids had no idea that there was this website, and they had this story that supposedly came from their mouths that was saying that, that at 6 their mother sold them to child. Right, you know what I mean? But it was all bullshit. Right. So this guy got too greedy. And this is how he got busted. He got too greedy. He got a documentary team to come out to film, what he was all about. And to drum up more business and to get more donations. He was getting all this money from people, rich people all over the world. And the documentary crew, they're the ones who were going, wait a minute, something ain't right here. Something ain't right. They figured it out. They go, these kids weren't from child sex trafficking. Then they cornered the kids and they pulled them aside and they made them read the story that was on the website. They had no idea the story was up. They didn't write it. They had no idea. They were like, oh my, they started, all of them start fucking freaking out and crying. They're like, they thought, oh my God, their life is ruined. Everyone thinks they're a prostitute, a child prostitute, but they weren't. They were just regular kids from, the country in Thailand. And poor kids that they were helping. What's
going on right now with
so
that
this
couple?
This guy got busted and he just disappeared. And they, no one knows where he's at.
There's a couple that raised money for this Marine, this homeless Marine.
$400,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Are they giving it to him yet?
GoFundMe has to give it to them because they back it. But yeah, they're going to court and they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Because they got
they're trying to
nothing.
keep it, right?
Yeah, they gave him like 90 grand of it.
Yeah, I don't. Let me ask you something, Sam, because I've listened with tinfoil hat with the podcast. What are you trying to do? What are you doing with people?
I just like to be honest with
and
you.
you pick a new topic every week.
Every week.
So last week, the autopsy from Bruce Lee came back. They did it on that show. Remember when we were kids?
Yeah.
There was a guy on HBO that was fantastic. But this guy, and I thought of you. I almost called you.
They did an autopsy on it?
Yeah, they opened up the case. Reels did Gandolfini. And I watched them to see what they did the Whitney Houston one.
Right.
And Whitney Houston, they said that Whitney Houston didn't die of cocaine. What happened was she did a couple bumps and went into the shower, and the shower was so hot. But since her body was numb, she didn't feel the heat. And that's what really killed Whitney Houston.
Really?
Yeah, like they
Holy shit.
Interesting shit. Like Gandolfini, I watched Gandolfini for 20 minutes. I looked at my wife, I go, if they don't mention cocaine, I'll never watch this show again. And then they went off on the cocaine, how much coke he was doing, how they found out he went to multiple rehabs and his heart. So now I pay attention because at least they tell the truth. At least they tell the truth.
Who's
you know
that?
what I'm saying? This channel, this doctor.
How do you know that's the truth though?
Because they wouldn't have talked about the cocaine. They could have just said that he died of a heart attack. He went through everything. He goes from The Sopranos. They found out how many rehabs he had gone through.
Oh, he was notorious during set.
Yeah.
Like he would just disappear
He's dead?
and be banging chicks.
Yeah,
The dude from Sopranos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that was in True Romance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But
When did he die?
A couple of years ago, 4 years ago. But it's crazy how this guy started talking about how he would do no shows on The Sopranos.
Yeah.
4 days. No show, no here, no nothing. And he would come back and he would pay for the days off. He would pay the days to the staff missing. And then he would fly in sushi and different food. And then they apologized and 2 weeks later. But the moral of the story is that
he was going hard in the paint.
Yeah. Oh, everybody knew that. Everybody knew that. Because of that, I started paying attention to the show more. And because you brought me on to talk about what
happened to Bruce Lee. So what they say happened.
And I always believed there was my conspiracy theory was when he told him he was doing Enter the Dragon, he was switching governments and that would cut off their money laundering because they were money laundering through his movies. All those Thai movies, they shot all those in Thailand, and it was Raymond Chow. And it's really funny that after
Golden Harvest,
after Raymond Chow and Bruce Lee died, Raymond Chow became a big producer in the United States, even producing Charles Bronson movies. So I always thought there was some type of conspiracy or something like that. You know, how he died, how it was really like there was no internet back then, guys.
Yeah.
So if you died in China, it took until the boat got here.
Yeah.
For us to find out about Bruce Lee. Nobody knew. Then one day on the streets, people started talking about it. We went into Chinatown and got the newspaper from China, and they showed you the pictures of him in the casket, but it wasn't, there's no internet. There was no encyclopedia. And what he talks about is he died from a cortisol addiction that nobody knew about.
A what?
Cortisol. Cool. What are you shooting to you when you have pain?
Oh, yeah.
Cortisone?
Cortisone. He had
So he hurt his back, and he would shoot a lot of cortisone. And because cortisone does something, there's side effects to cortisone. He never went off the cortisone. He never went off it that during Enter the Dragon, he got to the lightest he ever was. He was like 123 or something like that, and they were worried about him. So he broke it down. He goes, and then when he did that aspirin, the analgesic, he had so much cortisol in his blood, blah, blah, blah. It was death by misadventure. You know what I'm saying? Like
So there's nothing shady behind it.
no, it was something that he had developed years earlier. Something with that. There's a side effect to cortisol. And he was having mental lapses at the end. He was forgetting shit. And,
Yeah.
you know.
What if your first theory was actually correct? Like he was murdered by the Chinese triads, which is a conspiracy theory. What if, and that's what you thought at first. If that was true, wouldn't it make sense to put out a documentary to distract from that and just say, yeah, we did some tests on his blood. He died of cortisol. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen.
What do you think?
First off, it's a 45-year-old court, whatever document. What you guys don't know is like, listen, and I'll tell you this right now, and we'll wrap it up just so you know. At the age of 16, I found out everything about my life. And my father, who was, I was always told died of a died of a heart attack. What happened was he was the first Cuban committee man in Union City, New Jersey. So they were upplaying him. At the time when you landed from Cuba in Miami, there was billboards that said, come to Union City. There's life for Cubans there. So it became the second biggest, highest population for Cubans. Along the way, my father had a business. He had 2 businesses. And this is way pre-Castro. So he was a committee man from like 56 to 66 until he died. He was on some board. And when he died of a cocaine overdose. He died of a heroin. He thought he was doing coke, but somebody gave him heroin.
Oh my
And
God.
the heroin killed him instantly. And all that got covered up, dude. They made my mother send him to Cuba, and my father was buried in Cuba. So when I didn't find this out till I got older. Like, why would my mother send my father to fucking Cuba? Like, it just didn't make sense. And in those days, it wasn't like you could just call United. So my mother went with him all the way to Mexico.
Oh, my
And then
God.
in Mexico, they shipped him to Cuba, and then his family picked him up. So my mother could never collect the insurance policy that he left for me. He left me a prudential insurance policy. It was never signed by the county coroner. My father's death is still, the coroner never signed it. Now, my father was a nobody.
Yeah.
He was a nobody. So imagine what they do. Like, again, we're talking about this shit that, he was a nobody. Why would they cover it up?
Right.
So till this day, Prudential wants me to go to Cuba, dig him up for them to give me any money. Like in 1979,
Holy shit.
like in 1980, that was the deal. For us to go to Cuba, reanalyze the bones, and see if it was him. So after that, how do you think I felt about governments and shit like that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in nothing until
Yeah.
I see with my own
Exactly.
eyes.
That's what it's all about.
That was my
Question
lesson.
everything. That's what I always say, dude. Question everything. That's really all we do. We just have fun.
You question it.
And we're wrong a lot, we're wrong a lot, but it's really tough.
It's better than just going along with communism.
Yeah, that's my whole thing, man. It's
You
just
know.
like you watch the news, they lie to you all the time,
all day
constantly,
long. They tell
man.
you what, listen, well, the best thing about podcasts is listen to what happened to podcasts. It destroyed Comedy Central. Their credibility became bullshit. You guys have been hiding the real comics from us for the last 10 years since you've been since 1992 or 91 that you've been in business.
Right.
You've been giving us hand-selected comedy that you guys like, not the animals that were
Yeah.
out there. They lost
It's so
credibility.
crazy now,
That's
dude.
why now, even as a musician, fan of music, you got to think to yourself, was Kiss really the best band that was out there? Or was Kiss what they shoved down my throat?
Exactly.
Are
you kidding?
That's how
Are
I
you
think
kidding?
now.
I grew
Sure,
up.
dude.
I grew up the biggest Kiss fan of all time. But man, if they were an Illuminati operation, they're perfect. Look at the 4 characters that they're at. Like the Illuminati. Really, the Illuminati comes from ancient Babylon and ancient Egypt and all that, and the bloodlines, right? So you look at the cat, Peter Criss. Egyptians worshipped cats. And then you looked at Ace Frehley, space. Look what the Nazis did when they formed NASA and gave us the fake moon missions, right? They keep promoting space. And then Gene Simmons, the fucking demon, when you look into the Illuminati, they're
Dark arts, homeboy.
they're worshiping Lucifer, right?
Yeah.
And then Paul Stanley, Paul Stanley's that's the feminism in men right there. So they got 4 gigantic characters that are powerful in the Illuminati movement. That's just me getting crazy. But you brought it up. You said, what if Kiss wasn't the best band? What if that's
Led Zeppelin?
What if
Was
that's
it
just
Leonard Skinner? What if the Cars?
No, you want a great
It's
example?
what you sold me.
NWA, dude.
Exactly. That's what
what
we're
you
talking
sold
about.
me.
We're talking about
NWA.
that.
It's what you sold me. So
Yeah.
I've always listen. I love being a Catholic, but I got to tell you guys something. At the age of 10, I questioned it.
Right.
Like something,
Of course.
Right. Why is a nun hitting me?
Yeah. Why are there bishops and cardinals?
Why is a
and-
nun hitting me
No,
if you
I'm with
promote
you.
love?
Yeah.
And whatever, so that.
Why are they all fucking kids? You know what? What's up with that?
Yeah, no, and
nobody
I
goes to jail for
I
that.
didn't know nothing about fucking the kids. I didn't know that like even the Mormon Church owns 70% of Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Something crazy. The Mormon,
Really?
yeah.
Dude, there's this
something
whole
crazy.
thing.
Something
What?
crazy.
I didn't know that. That's news to me.
Yeah, something crazy.
I thought Scientology.
I
owned all
read
that
years
shit.
ago. Yeah, that the Mormon. That's why
Scientology owns a lot. Mormons do.
Mormons own a lot.
Do you know that Donald Trump, when he got elected, he went to Utah and he talked to the Church of the Mormons to kiss the ring. Like, they're very powerful. And they're very much of an outside power source compared to what goes on in Hollywood. In Washington, D.C., they say if these big trials are going to happen, that they keep talking about with Q Anonymous and all that stuff, which is this guy who gives information out to people because you can't get it on normal networks. But he basically says that's where a lot of the judges are going to come from. Utah and Mormons. Like Trump had to
that's
go
where
kiss the
Huber's
ring.
at, right?
Yeah.
Crazy shit, man.
Crazy.
I love it though, dude. I love it. And you know what I love? We're wrong, dude, but we're right a lot too. And the thing is that nobody keeps score. That's the whole thing. Like,
Well, nobody wants the truth.
yeah,
In that famous movie, you don't want the truth because you really can't handle the truth.
right.
You know what? I love doing coke. I didn't want to know that our own government was pushing it on our streets. I loved smoking coke. I didn't know that the CIA was putting it on fucking the streets of Compton and black neighborhoods to make them even weaker than what they were. I'll never forget reading an article in Time that the man with the golden gun was being hidden in Cuba. Some guy, I forget what his name was in the 70s, that was escaping from the United States. And I remember them saying at that time, I had a teacher, Mr. T, and him going, for years the Russians have been selling coke. It's all communist. And I remember saying, why would communists want to sell coke in the United States? He goes, because it makes them a lot easier to take over. When they come over and they put the guns up and we put up bags of kilos, they're going to throw the guns up in the air and go, fuck it. So it made sense, all the shit I learned over the years. It's just people don't really want to know there was a fake moon landing. You listen to the stories now, how bad the country was in shape. They needed something to be pro-American, so they thought about going to the moon and landing, but the wind wasn't blowing the right direction. So they fucked up the flag. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's all crazy shit.
I never knew.
And the whole thing isn't to get everybody to agree
Fouled
with
up,
everything
right,
all the
right.
time.
Yeah, it's like when there's a murder and there's really no evidence at first. A detective, a group of detectives will come up with every possible scenario and no matter how ridiculous it is, if it's somehow possible, it's a scenario, and they line up all their scenarios and all their suspects, and then one by one they eliminate them. Doesn't mean that every scenario is correct. It can't be. It's impossible that every scenario, but you come up with every possible angle. So that's all we do. When something happens, like anytime a celebrity is killed, a conspiracy theorist is going to have questions. You're going to have the official story that you read on your phone when you're taking a shit. Like, oh my God, you know who died? And you read it on your phone. And then the police confirmed that it was a suicide. You know what I mean? Are you going to believe that? You read it on your phone. You're taking a shit. It's on your iPhone. It's on CNN. It's on the Washington Post. So-and-so died. Police confirm it was a suicide. They confirmed it that goddamn quick. Are you going to believe that? Maybe you do believe it. Maybe it's true. But a detective wouldn't just believe that shit. A detective would start looking into it. and putting coming up with as many different scenarios as possible and putting together clues. That's what you do. You just don't read your iPhone and just believe that shit. Police confirmed that it was a suicide. Okay, that's it. Boom, that's it. It's a suicide. Saw it on my fucking phone. But then there's all these crazy little things that are going on around that certain suicide that you're like, wait a minute, motherfuckers. There's a lot of crazy, fishy shit going on around here, and to be ridiculed for questioning something that you read on your fucking phone while you were taking a shit. Questioning, you're ridiculed. You're ridiculed. I'll tell you one thing. If it ever comes out, you ever find out that I committed suicide, I'll fucking do backflips in my fucking grave. If you start getting on Instagram saying, "Oh, we lost another good one," to drugs, I will be pissed off if anybody wrote that shit. Because if it comes out that I committed suicide, I was fucking murdered because I ain't committing suicide. You know what I mean? So people think it's disrespectful to question
that's
the cops.
The funniest
they think it's disrespectful when someone comes out and someone commits suicide and you read it on your phone. Cops said that it was a suicide. They ruled it a suicide. To question that and to get ridiculed is disgusting. That's disgusting. You know what I mean? If you found out that someone you loved close to you and you found out just like everyone else, they committed suicide and you fucking, all you knew is what you fucking read on your phone and the cops, and then someone came up to you and said, "Hey dude,
there's more of that
there's
story."
more.
Yeah,
would you want to hear it? Or would you say, don't bring that up, it's too soon. It's too soon.
There was a suicide across the street here. There was a suicide in this building here maybe 8 years ago that I knew the kid.
Yeah.
Until this day, I always knew that something was wrong. In 2 years, after that,
is it disrespectful to go, wait a minute, maybe it wasn't a suicide?
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get why accepting the official narrative of people
respect their family. I think their family would want to know
who really did it.
That there was some fishy shit going on.
The best one was they killed Osama bin Laden, but they threw his body off the ship.
Oh yeah,
so nobody would see it.
Exactly.
Because the
Come
shit,
on.
all that shit.
Come on.
There's shit in Vegas
dumb do you have
that's
to be?
crazy, dude.
But the
they
problem
won't
with me
release
is-
till autopsies.
Yeah, the Vegas
I mean,
shit.
come on,
There's
man.
so much.
It's just too much that if you get caught up in it and you start doubting, you will go crazy.
For
because
sure.
you lost
So that's
faith.
why what you got to do
Your
is
structural basis will fall.
you always got to have a foot on the ground, right? You always got to have that. And it's like the way I see conspiracies is no different than the person who's always watching MSNBC, Christopher Titus is a wonderful comedian. I think he's a killer. He put out that he thanked Rachel Maddow for teaching him more about U.S. history. And I'm not saying anything bad about that, but he obviously watches MSNBC all the time. That's where he gets his news. I just like to investigate. I just like to learn to see what's going on and then kind of be like, oh, here's a pattern. And it's kind of, I don't think I'm going to change anything. The only thing that I do after I learn all this is how I interact with people in the world. How do I treat people? Okay. I try to treat people with love, respect. When John McCain dies, I don't run around talking about what a war hero he is because that's not the truth, man. And there's a lot of shady shit about that motherfucker. He put a lot of our sons and daughters in very bad harm's way. It's just a fact, man. And I'm going to get some shit about that. And hey, man,
That's why I love you. That's why
I'll stand by it, man.
That's what the best
All I
about
can
having a
control is
podcast is.
That's
That's
how
what
I
the best thing
recognize
about
him.
it
I
is.
remember him.
That we have a voice now.
Yeah.
We have a voice now. You don't have to sit at home and go, you know what? Fuck you, motherfuckers. That's not what happened. Let me ask you, knucklehead, something. You and my brother here going on the road, doing some dates together, which I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Eddie for fucking committing. I'm proud
He's
of
doing
Lee.
great, man. I'm really proud of him.
All these guys that have been around comedy for so long, and they get in it, and people say to me, I can't believe Lee's doing comedy. Well, he's been around it for 6 years. He watches every special on Netflix. After a while, you got to give it a chance.
Yeah.
Eddie's been around it. I still remember Eddie going on stage 2004.
2001.
Wow. So
Bombing.
this doesn't surprise me.
Bombing. Oh.
But he got it.
You're doing great, dude.
You're doing great. And
Thank
that's
you.
all that
Thank you.
matters.
Thank you, man.
Where's your
Thank you.
next date, you fucking savage?
We're here. No, it's September 14th, 15th. We're at the Corner Comedy Club in Niagara Falls, Canada. It's at thecornercomedyclub.com.
This Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, we've sold a bunch of tickets, man.
So this Friday and Saturday.
Yeah,
In Niagara Falls, and I'm doing seminar Saturday day in Niagara Falls too. A jiu-jitsu school out there. Get on my Instagram for the details. It's at Eddie Bravo Tempe.
What are the dates are you doing comedy at Tinfoil Hat at?
So we're also they're on my website, samtripoli.com. We're also doing Philadelphia in October.
October 12th.
And then the 14th of Funny Bone.
In Syracuse.
Yep.
So October 12th in Philly, October 14th. So we're doing Friday and a Sunday. That Saturday I'm doing a seminar in Bethlehem. But 10 Planet Bethlehem.
And then we're going out to the following month. We're in
Houston, November 3rd.
And
Austin, November
Austin.
4th. So.
Now, do you guys get on stage and just do a podcast, or
No.
just two guys doing stand up?
We do about an hour of stand up, and then we do about 30 to 45 minutes of Q&A with the crowd.
There's usually 4 of us. It's me, Sam, Ryan, who's his co-host on the Tinfoil
Send
Hat.
him my love. He's a great guy.
He's a great dude.
Great
I love
guy.
him.
I love him to
Tinfoil
death.
Hat podcast, which is awesome. His co-host Ryan, Off the Grid Ryan, he's usually with us, and we have another guy, Trez Mala, who we could bring out when financially it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's 4 of us, but a lot of times when we go on the road, it's just going to be me and Sam, just for financial purposes, and then we'll take a local comedian. But it's so
It's
much
fun, though,
goddamn
dude.
fun to have a whole crowd that's at least Tower 7 and over. You know what I mean? If they're all on Tower 7, it's a lot easier to talk to them. You know what I mean? Because if I had a crowd that was half people that believed Hillary Clinton was a good person, dude, I'd be bombing. It's not going to be a good night. So that's how Tinfoil Hat Comedy came about. I did a couple shows with Sam, random shows at the Comedy Store with Comedy Chaos, and it just, man, I got too conspiracy too quick, and it just didn't flow right the first couple shows. And I called up Sam one night and I said, dude, can we do a tinfoil hat fucking comedy show where it's just nothing but people that are at least at Tower 7? If you're at least at Tower 7, then fuck, how much fun will that be?
Yeah.
So that's what we started doing, tinfoil hat comedy. And we went to San Francisco and Sacramento and fucking smashed it there. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy. Because when we get to San Francisco, half an hour before the show, it looks like it's 1/4 filled. And then we went backstage and we're like, you know what? No one showed up. No big deal. No one showed up. It's all good. We're just gonna go out there and there's 100 people. So what? It's 100 people. It's beautiful.
Matter.
But we went out and then 5 minutes before the show started, I went out and took a look again, and it was fucking packed.
Yeah,
and I went upstairs and I told Sam, "You're not gonna believe this." And he goes, "What?" I go, "Dude, all of a sudden it's fucking packed." And he goes, "No." We went out there and we're like, "Holy shit!" That's when we knew that maybe there's a chance that we could take this on the road.
We were in San Francisco making fun of Obama, and people were going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's
in San Francisco. It was
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
And then
man.
Sacramento, which is cool. I love doing comedy in front of your crowd when I opened up for you a couple times, because it's just all Mexicans and it's all Latin. They're not necessarily conspiracy theorists at all.
No,
They're just Mexicans. I love just going up and doing Mexican, like non-conspiracy theory comedy. Not all my comedy is about conspiracy theories. I have dick jokes and fart jokes and shit like that. But Sacramento, it was all conspiracy. It was a conspiracy crowd, but they were all Mexican. So the Sacramento show was fucking insane. We had so much fun. It's just a combo of Mexicans and conspiratards were great.
Listen, fuckos, I'm happy you stopped in tonight. I love
Thank
you
you, man.
both.
I love you,
I
dude.
love Tinfoil. I'll see you Tuesday.
It's one of my favorite shows to do.
Comedy
I like to sit
Chaos.
back and
I
watch.
think it's probably sold out already.
Comedy Chaos is always
sold out.
You're doing
It's 'cause
that
of you guys.
next Tuesday?
I'm doing Tuesday. Yeah, I'll be
You
down
guys
there
are
Tuesday
nice
'cause
stuff.
I'm
I
leaving
hate
Philly.
bothering you guys. I hate
I
bothering
love when
you.
you call me. You're fan.
I hate it.
You
I
don't
hate
bother
it.
me.
Oh my God.
I just don't know when I can be there. But
It's
I'll
all
be there
good in the
Tuesday.
hood, man.
Yeah, it's a guaranteed sold out main
they're
room
always
show.
sold out.
Yeah, it's
Russell Peters,
it's a great
Brendan
show.
Schaub this week.
Joe Rogan's always
Rogan's
doing it.
on. It's a great show.
Theo Vaughn,
Yeah, this is going to be
Tom
crazy this week.
Segura, Ari, Duncan.
Thank you again, brother.
I love you, dude.
And I
Thank
love
you for having
too.
me on, dude.
Thank
What
you.
day is this tinfoil hat come on?
It's this.
This weekend. in
we put it
Niagara
out
Falls.
every
When's the
Monday and Thursday.
podcast? Okay,
Oh, the
so-
podcast.
So
Yeah.
it's 2 podcasts a week.
Yeah.
Sam, all the best.
I love you,
your
bud.
Comedy Store family. We've been together 20 years now.
I
You
had
got
a
my
great
other brother.
time.
We had them at the Dodger game Monday night with the kids.
I
That
ended up
was awesome.
fanning out and
Tremendous. I
fanboying out.
went to the Dodger game. I was fucked up in the chair. I
saw that.
We couldn't eat edibles.
Hey
and
man, we
couldn't
were
do-
so high. Seriously, I this is no joke. I have a real legit fear of heights and no seats. The highest Dodger, like I felt like the whole time I had that fear running through my blood. Of
Yeah, we
I
were gonna
felt like
check
I was
over.
gonna fall off. And my son's with me, and I'm looking over at my son, and I just want to grab him. But there's no way. You look, and there's no way we could
Yeah.
fall off.
No.
But we were pretty goddamn high, and the whole time I'm afraid of falling off. I'm a fucking pussy.
Hey, man.
We sat, we took pictures. We had kids. We just took a picture.
Must have been-
You know, it was so
I
funny
love
because
Dodgers.
I put me and EB with our families at a Dodger game, and all we got for like an hour was like, "That's great, it's warm," but then you always got people like you couldn't have got better seats.
Yeah.
It's not about the better seats. It's just about being together with your family.
Right.
Yeah, next
And
time we
yeah.
got to go lower, though.
Oh yeah,
Next time,
I could call
we
a
gotta go
friend
lower.
and sit right behind the Dodgers, but I don't want to do that. But not with 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
I want to attract as least attention
Yeah, I got
as we
you.
did. We got a guy
I
that sat
got
in
you.
front of us from Liverpool.
Yeah,
he took
yeah.
a picture with us. We ate, and I'm gonna try. There's 5 home games left. I'm gonna try to go to one more. So expect my phone call.
Hell
I
yeah.
love you, Sam.
I love you
Tripoli.
too, man. Thank you.
I love you too. I want to thank Eddie and Sam for stopping in. But most importantly, listen to me. 23andMe is a DNA testing service that could offer insights into your ancestry, health, wellness, and traits. The bitter taste report versus the salty reports, DNA play a role in determining what your food preferences, from sweet to salty to bitter. 23andMe Health and Ancestry Service includes reports on how your DNA can influence your weight, your sleep quality, your caffeine intake, sense of taste, whether you're likely to be lactose intolerant, and more. It's easy to do. You just spit into a tube provided by 23andMe, and you mail your saliva sample back to the lab to be analyzed. I'll tell you what, I did it. I did it about a year ago. That's why when they contacted me, I was all over it. And I learned a lot from where I was from and how they found this DNA from chickens that the Chinese had. I'm African. I'm from the north tip of Spain up there. I'm also American Indian. I'm also a little Chinese, and they found a little Russian Jewish. All these things are very interesting to find out. So what I would do if I was you guys, the lactose intolerant report shed insights into how your genetics may affect your ability to digest dairy products. Stuff like that. Just simple stuff like that. And now, when I got sick a couple months ago, I eliminated dairy, and boom, I went on the reports a couple weeks ago, and that's what it was. That I was susceptible to that, and pasta and all that stuff. And like maple. Remember I told you guys I was allergic to maple syrup? Now, even when I have the Lego waffles that are wheat, and I put the sugarless syrup on it, I still get sick on it. This told me all this stuff on the report. So listen, besides telling you where you're from and who you are and who you're a piece of, this 23andMe is the way to go. So do me a favor. Order your 23andMe Health and Ancestry Service at 23andme.com. Again, 23andme.com/church. CHURCH. That's the number. 23andme/church.com. Okay? No. So it's 23andme.com/church. That's the way you go, okay? So listen, find out who you are and what's going on, and you'll be fine, all right? Take a chance. Columbus did. I know a lot of you are scared to find out who you really are. You might find out your uncle's your cousin, but who cares? Take a chance. Anyway, football season is in full effect. Whether it's college or the pros, you're rocking and rolling. I know that you got a guy that knows a guy. What happens one day when the guy skips out on you? And now you don't get your little $80 or your $180, and you need that money. That's why I tell my family here from the church to go with my bookie. Why? Because they're tremendous. The truth is, I don't know who's going to win, but if you think you know, you got to check out my bookie. Remember, it's not what you're betting on it is as important as who you're betting with. That's why I always tell people to bet with my bookie. Trust me, they're the best around fucking flat, period. They've been in business for years. They got great reviews online, and their mobile site is easy to use. I'd only recommend the service to you guys. That's been good to me. That's why I'm urging you right now to go to my bookie. You know why? Because they pay when you win. Plain and simple. They got game, live betting, the most rewarding player perks in the business. And for your fantasy guys out there, you can even bet the over and under on how many fantasy points a player score each game. How are you going to get that action anywhere else? Nowhere but my bookie. So do me a favor. Join today, right now. It's Monday morning. You're sitting there at your desk. You're scratching your balls. You don't know what you got. Oh, I like Monday night. But no, listen. It all starts with making money. What are you going to watch the game for? What? To eat popcorn and waste your time. Go right now. Join my bookie, and we'll match your deposit dollar for dollar. You put in $2, they give you $2. So now you got $4. Where are you going to get that type of action? Because that's how Uncle Joey takes care of you. What you do is go to my bookie and use promo code CHURCH, CHURCH, to activate the offer. Visit my bookie online today. That's my bookie, MYBOOKIE. And don't forget to use the promo code CHURCH, CHURCH, when creating your account to claim up to $1,000 in free play. Plain and simple with my bookie. You play, you win, you get paid. Who's fucking better than you? I want to thank 23andMe. I want to thank my bookie. I want to thank Sam Tripoli. I want to thank Eddie Bravo. You guys know them both and how to get a hold of them. I want to thank my main man, the Christ Killer, but most importantly, you guys. You're my family. And again, I'll see you guys right now. The only tickets available are at Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut. So hopefully I'll see you guys there this month if you're from the East Coast. I love you motherfuckers. Have a great week. This is a great way to start the week. Stay black. Kick this fucking mule, Lee.